What's up, everybody? This is Sports Goofs number 153, I think. Yeah, I think so. I'm Francisco. I'm joined by my good buddies Andrew and Charles here. So yeah, 153. And yeah. Well, we're here. We're gonna do the whole talking about sports things. Maybe. I have no idea. Sometimes we just don't. Sometimes it's just one of those shows where we're just like, you know what, sports aren't happening, even though they are happening. But anyways, Andrew, how you doing? How's it going, my buddy?
I'm doing great. I'm happy to be back.
You're making money. That's what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you're doing. You're spry and happy. Like there's a you got a spring in your step. That's what you've got going. 23
Absolutely.
Skidoo. You're doing the 23 Skidoo thing. So
absolutely, I'm loving it.
And we got Charles on the other end. What's up, man?
No, I feel. Remember that episode of South Park where Kyle had the New Jersey people invade and he felt himself transforming?
Then he just is that when
into the Jerseyan?
When yeah. And then his mom turned inside New Jersey.
Yeah, because I'm returning to the old country this week on Thursday, and I already feel like the A shirts are coming in. My slick back hair is getting even more slick back, and I'm gonna grow a mustache out of nowhere, like full force and effect. You know, maybe I'll just have some pizza sauce on my shirt. I was talking to my paralegal
like
about
Rosie
places
Perez.
I want to eat. Yeah, I'm not Neo-Rican, so, it's from the Colombian side because I'm from Jackson Heights originally. So I told my paralegal, because everybody's like, oh, what food are you going to get there? Like, oh, you got to get the pizza and Chinese food. I'm like, nah, bro, I want straight up Colombian food, and I need to hit up a Puerto Rican restaurant. I don't do the mofongo. I'm sorry that it's not my favorite thing, even though if I do hit up that place, I'll probably get the mofongo along with everything else because I'm just going to treat it like a buffet because the grandparents' birthdays are both in the month of October. My grandfather's birthday is actually tomorrow. Happy birthday, Grandpa. You don't listen. I don't make you proud by saying I'm on a podcast. If it's okay. But that's where I am. So if you hear me start watching the Yankees, them Yankees, they ain't nothing with Derek Jeter. Go from there. It's just like play like A-Rado again. It's because I'm transformed.
Hey, I'm walking here.
I'm walking here.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to the inevitable. I've found that when people talk to, people from where they were born, they tend to get their accent back.
That's true.
So I'm looking forward to New York Charles. And
here's the thing: there's two kinds of Charleses, though. There's New York Charles, but also there's like the hillbilly Moosai, to quote Jamie Noble, Charles. Because
you got Polk County Charles. Do we have a Polk County Charles?
I have a Southern accent, and when I get angry, I say y'all a lot. So when people piss me, I'm like, y'all motherfuckers killing me. It comes out, man, and it's like hood Southern boy, big crit up in here, coming into it. It's an interesting dynamic, But I also, I guess since we're going into like my biography lately, I am not from the island. I was born in Jackson Heights, Queens for those 7-8 years, and I would routinely go back every now and then, and my grandparents don't have the accent. My parents have a little bit of it. It's really my uncle and my aunt, and my aunt has that, island bit because she's been living in Smithtown. My uncle's like, Flushing, Queens, and I was like, oh, what are you going to do? And we're talking about going to Manhattan. You guys have to stop me from spending $1,000 to not go to the Yankees game because I've never been to the Bronx. Well, I have as a child, but I've never been to like Yankee Stadium, and it so happens that it's a playoff game, and I'm just like sitting there, I'm like, this is why you make money, right? Not because you want to save up to buy a house when you're 70 and put your kids through school. That shit's not happening with me, very rarely. It's about eating Colombian food, Puerto Rican food, and then spending money on Aaron Judge doing absolutely nothing. And then, it's just there's like a punch Aaron Boone. Let's be honest here. Like, that's the motivation. So, feeling it.
Yeah, we've got the full slate, like, tonight. NBA preseason is happening. NFL week 5 just happened. College football week 6. Division series in baseball. The NHL's already started, and today's the North American opening night. So we've got games slated for all of that. So I'm excited. I'm starting to gear up for hockey again, and. Yeah. Well, I got the Yankees game versus Cleveland in the background. So I'll keep an eye on that as the game goes on, because that'll be fun, especially any live reactions from Charles if things start to go awry. Because we've never had the playoff cold job either. So
no, and the way that it's going. No, but granted, there is some wrist workouts that's already coming due, so maybe it's gonna happen during this game.
Yeah, that reminds me of the Blink 182.
And a jerky judge, maybe. Maybe a jerky
I don't know if you saw the
judge.
Blink 182 announcement. You all see that?
God.
Oh yeah, yeah. You know what's weird
They really
too?
leaned
It's
in
actually
hard on
relevant
that.
because I was going through like 2 of their discographies when I was prepping to go to Carolina. So it's like scary. It's like they knew Tom DeLonge was like, hey, instead of Joe on UFOs and stuff like that, I'm coming back.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's happening. Yeah, a bunch of stuff. I don't even know where to start, to be honest. Andrew wanted to talk about something he hasn't been on the show in forever.
Yeah, Andrew can take the reins. My voice is like slightly irritated, so Andrew can definitely, by all means, please handle the reins for us because you guys are my throat going to New York accent.
Well, something I'd like to do is I had meant to do this a few weeks ago, but then holidays and other things got in the way, so I haven't been here for a few weeks. I would like to go, perhaps briefly, into the Andrewverse.
Mm-hmm. Alrighty.
Prepare to be shocked and scared. I feel like we should do anytime we have Andrew and Andrewverse stuff. If you like Twilight Zone, what are you about?
I'll tell you,
we're not that high production yet where we could have like transitions.
Yeah, maybe someday.
Mm.
So,
Get that production assistant.
if you guys, certainly you guys remember, but if our loyal viewers will remember, a couple of months ago, we rated who we thought were the most attractive NHL coaches.
Sign up. I need to pause in. Why the hell is the white rabbit on our Twitch saying, "Rub on what you are," and we become... Does it know about the cage, or was that you, Francisco?
That wasn't me. That's for sure.
Ray knows I'm around. Go ahead, Andrew.
So, someone, I don't remember who, wait, who was it? Gambling.com
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
did a ranking of the most handsome NHL coaches based on how well they fit into the golden rule.
Right.
With golden ratio of how attractive their face is.
What?
Okay.
There's supposedly the golden ratio can tell you how attractive a face is based on how closely it conforms to this sort of ratio. It's stupid, but okay. So, without further ado, I would like to go down the list, or rather up the list.
And we touched on this briefly, but it was more of like a rant and like us hooting and hollering that someone stole our idea.
Do you remember in Sunny when Dennis tries to sell the car and the guy's like, "It's a great starter car"? It's like, a starter car? This is not a starter car. That was the feeling.
Yeah.
Andrew's not either. For those who are
so
listening,
you guys
we got
went through
Andrew
the
on
list
Always
already?
Funny.
No,
We didn't go through.
We
talked
saw
some ish on it.
We saw where our number one head coach went, and we're just like, oh, what the? He was like number 20 or something like that, and then like Marty St. Louis was like way down the list too, like a bunch of stuff. But yeah,
Do you want me to go through the list?
I
or-
mean, we can.
Well, you already covered it. You already.
Yeah, we covered a bit. What's your thoughts
But
on
what-
someone stealing our shit?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, you stole my thunder. That's a bummer. But okay.
Going just
The
like
podcast is
gambling.com.
available for everybody if you want to hear it. The past episodes on Spotify and Apple Podcasts and YouTube. You know, it goes on YouTube afterwards, not during. So,
I think San Luis is way too far down the list.
Quads over there, fuck.
I think Cooper's way too far down the list.
We gave Cooper what, like number 4 or number 3, I think. So yeah,
He was pretty high. They have him as 27.
they just hate they don't like the skinny guys.
he's
is
well.
what
I
got
mean,
from the list.
somebody had a Twitter account called Sexy NHL Coaches that they made in 2013, and that was when they had their last post, actually. So there you go. But they didn't follow through with the whole thing. That's the thing. They only really just one. There's only one coach. It's Peter Laviolette for whatever reason. That's the only NHL head coach that they thought was sexy. So, all right then.
I mean, maybe that's the NLBL. They weren't playing those games. They just knew.
Yeah. I dare someone to do the MLB one then, because that was the worst one.
I think Brindamore is a little bit too high. He was tied for 10th.
Yeah.
Tortorella is definitely too high. He's 9th.
Mm-hmm.
Bruce Boudreau is 16th, and with no offense to Bruce Boudreau, I don't think he's middle of the pack.
I think I just laughed at him when you showed me his picture.
Yeah. He's with you at the barbecue with Andy Reid. So
I guess what this goes to show is this
someone has a big
golden
guy fetish.
ratio thing is complete bupkis.
Yeah, exactly. Our criteria, and we did it with Brendan. Remember?
Yep.
So it wasn't just us. We brought an independent source to help us out with this. So the next time he's on this show, especially like the NBA is about to start, like next time he's on the show, we should just like we'll circle back to this one more time. We're like, Brendan, you remember this? I feel like we
Brendan got a new job.
What did he get?
As
he's big time.
Big time.
Big time.
Damn.
Big time. Just like our other guest, Jeremy Taché.
Sheesh, man. This is a springboard to bigger things. That's for sure.
We're the next SNL and Daily Show, guys.
Except we don't suck. So, yeah. Yeah.
Better that than Mad TV, even though Mad TV had the better cast of characters.
Oh, Mad TV was better.
Not Mad TV. I'm talking about Success, not Mad TV, but there was the one with John. Was it John Kennedy? It had Dan Levy in there as or usually. Oh, sorry. 1 second. No. It was something Radio City or Saturday Radio City or something like that. I'll look into it and that'll be like deep.
Wasn't the one with Jim Carrey where he came from and all that stuff? Is that what
you're that year that's in Living Color.
In Living Color, there you go. All right.
Yeah, I'm thinking of a different one that had Eugene Levy in there, who's known for
apparently like the Dana Carvey show is one of those shows that had a lot of super talented people that worked on it, even though the show didn't last for very long. But apparently like a ton of people use that as springboards to, or like were a part of that to become something bigger and better afterwards. Like apparently he had a bunch of talented people around him to make that show, and then I guess I don't know, but for whatever reason it didn't work out, But
it starred Steve Carell, Stephen Colbert.
Second City Television is what I'm thinking of as the alternative.
That's a Chicago thing. Then Second City. That's a Chicago thing.
Okay. Yeah, John Candy, Eugene Levy, Joe Flaherty, Captain
Chicago used to produce a lot of great people, but I don't think it's as big of a hotbed anymore. But okay, sorry, Andrew. Who else?
Also Robert Steigel was an executive producer. He did the TV Funhouse on SNL, but most people recognize him as the guy behind. What's his name? Triumph the Insult Comic Dog.
Really like Triumph?
Huh?
Let's save some kids. You like Triumph? This is safe to them.
I had a Triumph phase as a teenager. I'm not gonna lie. I bought the rap album that he made. Just stupid money. Okay. Yeah, there were a bunch of people from that show. That was. Oh, Andrew, I want to ask this question. I had this planned as well, Charles. So, Gisele and Tom Brady are calling it splits, and
sorry, and he's not ready for it.
And so, like, it's a tough situation, right? Tom Brady left her just to go 2-0 versus the Atlanta Falcons every season, until he's like 69 years old, and so like it's hard for everybody, but it seems like everybody's got to shoot their shot now, right? Zach Wilson, and heck, me and Charles have also shot our shots. And we need you to shoot your shot, Andrew. So once you shoot your shot to Gisele, now that she's available, I implore you to figure out where's the first place that you're going to take Gisele and the kids out to dinner or for food of any sort.
Tomothy, Tommen, and Tom Saya.
Tom Saya, there we go. So I was going to do a traditional Nicaraguan cookout, right? Carne asada, gallo pinto, queso frito, like all the goods. And then I was going to destroy Tom Brady's heart by FaceTiming him while I feed his kids what I call cereal gruel, which is a combination of Cinnamon Toast Crunch and Oreos mashed up into this black puke of some sort. But it's cocaine in a bowl. So that's what I would do, right? Because I need to test out those kids' kidneys and livers. Like there are organs in their body because of the Tom Brady diet, that the TB12 diet, that they've never worked out before, and we need to have them up to snuff before they reach adulthood. So that's what I'm doing. Charles, where were you taking the kids and Gisele?
I said Brews Room so they can get like cheese fries and greasy chicken wings that are extra wet, with some celery and carrots, so it's not a pure system shock to their body. And I think I had pretzel bites, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. That was the appetizer.
So,
that was the appetizer.
The blue cheese or ranch.
Yeah.
And then I said, did I say ice cream or did I say anything sweet?
No, we looked at their dessert menu.
No, because it'd be too heavy.
We spent half an hour doing this, Andrew. We looked at their dessert menu.
I get what real America would taste like.
Exactly. So, Andrew, we've given you some time, and we could loop back around this if you need a little more time. But we just want to know, where are you taking Gisele and the kids? Because they've been eating the TB12 diet. Which, what was it, Charles?
He's taking the Four Rivers.
What was it consistent of?
Rivers. Probably grass.
Yeah,
something. Little grass.
Yeah, exactly. So there you go. Where are you taking Gisele and the kids?
You're into Tom Brady.
I don't know, man. I mean,
I didn't want to tell you before because I wanted to hear on the spot. But like I said, we could loop back around.
I hate how organic and the thing is, Andrew, this was not planned. We just showed up one day and we joked about it and we said, "Where would you take them? These poor children who need food."
It's harder than you think, because everybody else is like, "Oh, I'm gonna get with Gisele," but nobody thought about like the aftermath. Nobody thought about
Tomothy, Tommen, and Tom Saya. But us 30-year-old men, we understand that certain ages comes. Not baggage, I feel is the inappropriate word to use, but accessories. Yeah. Right? Fashion accessories in that sense. It's not like Tom was dating like a 23-year-old here. He's having a beautiful 41-year-old Brazilian model that, she dedicated her life and soul to. And whatever it is, they may get back together. We don't know. Love finds a way. But, right now, Tom Saya and Tomothy need a little, Sagona treatment here. Andrew's like, please.
So many places, so many meals, so many different things.
We also did a live review of the Royal Crispy Chicken.
Oh yeah, that's right. We did that, and I had So while he's thinking of that, I did have the other versions. I had the one with the Swiss.
Okay, just one.
I had the one with the Swiss and the bacon, which I thought was fine. Okay. I liked the sauce on it. It's the same sauce that they had with the chicken, so that was good. And then I tried just the regular deluxe, I guess, that they have, and it's just like, okay, it was fine. It really does need the Swiss and the bacon, to be honest, I think, because the chicken was
because it's just a big ass chicken sandwich.
Exactly. So that's kind of what I went on. So if I had to rank I've only had two of the three, so I got to try the spicy one. We haven't had
the barbecue.
I need the barbecue. Yeah, I need the barbecue one. So I need to try that one. That's next. That's probably next, unless I'm feeling like in the spicy one. Mode.
And the spicy one, you could just take my word for it. It's like a smaller version of the chicken with some accoutrements in there. Like the chicken did not have like tomatoes and stuff like that. Yeah, I don't remember it having lettuce.
Well, the deluxe version had that. Had the The tomato and the lettuce. So
I don't think I went the deluxe because there's only so much this body could take. Surprisingly.
Yeah. Oh man.
Well, I think the correct answer is ask them first what they want to do.
But they don't know.
That's
it's
a
just like living in a
cop-out.
cult, bud.
No, you
Gisele might
are
have
the
a memory
man.
of prior lives, yeah.
Well, that's why I said that's the correct answer. But
Because they don't know any better.
Come on, man. There's food that we've been into. I'm like, come on, man.
It's been like 20.
Come on. It's on me.
It's been 20 years since Tom and her. I don't know when she broke up with Leo, but like it's been a long time, right? And so she doesn't know any better. She doesn't know where to go. It's like sending. It's like releasing a butterfly into the wild, and then you're just gonna let a bird eat it. You know, we gotta guide her into this new life, the post Tom Brady life, the post TB12 diet life. That's what we're doing out of love, you know. Oh, your diet was called the CT something. I forgot what it's called.
CT3, CT me,
yeah,
CT,
something like that.
Something like that. Yeah.
Probably what I would do is I would kind of go, oh, you know what? Yeah, that's what I would do. That's a very good. I would try and do something kind of in between, like Charles said, not to kind of shock the system.
Mm. Good. You're going to ease them into it.
There's a small restaurant chain here in Florida called Columbia's.
Okay. All right. We're going to look this up because this is actually what I wanted the show to become. So, all right.
And
I was about to hurt somebody on the idea that that there's gonna be spicy food in his children's boys' stomachs.
Mm.
And honestly, for most of the menu, I couldn't care less. You can probably get that better at other places because it's more of a Hispanic Spanish kind of feel to it. Okay. It's based out of Tampa, right. But I know it because they have a location and celebration. But
those boys probably don't even know what Disney is, so you're doing a 2-for-1 for them.
So they have an Orlando location. It's called Columbia's. Columbia Restaurant Orlando. I'm just gonna look at that up.
In the
ColumbiaRestaurant.com. All right. Celebration. Okay.
All
right.
Sorry, it's Columbia Restaurant, but
all right. I don't know see it. It has like an old timey type of feel to it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Okay.
It's located
my Hispanic ass is already thinking about New York because I'm thinking Colombia. I'm like, ooh, Andrew.
Since 1967.
Well, no, this is
dear Lord.
This is the Columbia.
Gem of Spanish restaurants. It's a Spanish restaurant, they say. So, all right, Spanish Cuban. All right, okay.
It is based out of Tampa, so that's kind of a little enclave of Cubanness on the southwestern side of the state.
So let's see what they got. So I'm looking at the menu, Andrew. What are we starting with? We got some sopas. You're gonna start with that. Some ensalada. Where are we going with this whole meal?
I couldn't care. I honestly could not care less about most of the menu.
Okay.
If I'm taking Gisele and the kids to a place, it would be to Columbia for the 1905 salad.
The 1905 salad?
I believe that's what it's called.
Okay. I'm very upset that you can give a model a salad.
Trust me, it's not what you think.
And right. Guys, I have eaten salads before. I'm just saying, I know my reputation very well.
Okay, so we're gonna be eating that. All right. So what's so special about this salad?
It's really good, man.
Okay, let's see. Columbia's legendary salad.
Does it have lettuce that has pesticide on it?
I'm gonna read right off the menu. Columbia's original 1905 salad. Legendary salad tossed tableside, crisp iceberg lettuce with julienne of baked ham, natural Swiss cheese, tomato olives, grated Romano cheese, Leia and Perrine's Worcestershire sauce, and our famous garlic dressing. It's won awards. USA Today is one of the 10 greatest places to make a meal out of a salad. The signature salad named for the year the restaurant was founded in Tampa's Latin district of Ybor City, inspired by immigrants, Cigar City. Okay, yeah, okay. So there you go. That's how big it is, and you can add some other stuff to it. You can add some turkey or some shrimp or whatever. So
So
are you getting the kids dessert too?
Of course.
Oh, well,
I mean,
no.
Let's see. They got
you're a good
I'm not a
flan.
monster.
They've got flan. They got churros tres amigos. Golden brown Spanish pastry dusted.
I'm
okay,
sorry.
I know
I'm
what
looking
churros.
at Cafe Adela.
Key lime pie. Yeah, Cafe Adela and Cafe Cesar. White chocolate bread pudding. Spanish coffee. Cafe Melanie. Cafe Ricardo. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. I didn't expect
Like
anything in Spanish.
I'm
Spanish Cuban.
I'm honestly
Very
starting
classy,
to
actually.
drool a bit. I'm annoyed that I didn't get 1905 the last time I was in Orlando.
Mm.
But
Out
I'm
of
going
the,
back up there pretty soon, so I'm going to get one because
out of the three of us, Andrew actually went with the most classy of the choices.
Oh, well,
You
I'm
gotta-
fucking sorry. God. I'm trying to give them the American way.
that wasn't my intent. To my thing
Man
was
starts
more,
making money, things change. We're kidding, man.
Andrew's the one who pulls out the chair for Gisele, gives Tommy Tom and
Yeah.
Saya like little napkins to put on their pants.
Yeah,
Although I will say,
etiquette.
when they inevitably go to Disney, they need to get a turkey leg.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah, you're not gonna send them to System Shock like me. I'm like, all right, Timothy, you got to eat them pretzel bites real quick before you even get a shred of that chicken wing.
Yeah.
Ahora.
Damn it! Now I'm craving a turkey leg. Damn it!
Turkey legs,
Screw you
awesome.
guys.
This is the show, baby. This is what the show has
Screw
become.
you guys. You're gonna be making me crave this delicious food for the next 2 months before I can get my hands on it.
Yeah, well, that's the point, because in 2 months, any one of us could be with Gisele, and that's what our plan is. Okay, we've shot our shot. She can listen to the show. This is what we're offering her and the kids. So, and I'm sure
So I have.
Yeah.
Good.
No, I said once more.
So I have one.
This is just something to her. One more thing, Gisele. All three of us have thought about the kids too, right? It's not just because Brazilian supermodel. Well, we're thinking about the family as well. So that's what's in our hearts. So there you go.
I have one more comment on this, and then I think we finally put this to bed.
Yes.
So which NFL player do you think is going to shoot a shot for her?
Antonio Brown.
Davidson.
No, NFL, because you got to think about it.
Oh no,
There's,
Antonio Brown's
former
not in the
Patriot
NFL no more,
players.
and he's a fucking goon.
Yeah, former Patriot players, Buccaneer players.
Oh, no, Antonio
name it
Brown's
around her.
far fellow
There's
at
always
this
that
point.
one guy. There's always that one guy.
Ooh. Yeah.
Rob Gronkowski's just like
Zach Wilson's a
he's
good
gonna-
one.
Gronk is gonna do Jello shots. Hit up that WhatsApp so it's all encrypted. Be like,
Damn, man, that'd be a massive backstabbing, right? Sheesh.
I'm all for it.
Okay.
I'm
Well
all
then.
for it.
All right
Could
then.
you imagine hey, ever since I met you, I always want to spike you with
Oh,
like a
no.
football. Whatever, just stuff like that. That'll be like in group chat so we can laugh about because Rob is definitely gonna sue us.
Oh man. Alrighty then. So we spent a half hour doing that.
That was fun.
Yeah, it was. So I guess we can do. Andrew, do you know what the heck's going on with Hockey Canada?
I've been following it a bit.
I don't know what the origin of this thing is going on. Like, is it like a system wide thing where the board of directors were like all misogynistic and racist and a bunch of stuff?
So what precipitated all of this this was kind of the, I don't know, this was kind of the the little trickle, a little bit of break in the dam that opened it, that eventually kept growing and eventually opened the flood, broke down the dam. There were allegations pretty serious ones at that, against a few members of Canada's World Juniors teams from 2010, 2011, 2012. Guys like Cal Foote on Tampa. I don't remember what was the end result of the investigation. I never heard it, but they were pretty serious.
They paid millions in sexual assault settlements.
Yep.
They confirmed they had paid almost 9 million Canadian dollars in 21 settlements filed against its players since 1989.
So yeah, it started with the half dozen or so players.
Yeah, and this is like when it's Hockey Canada, and much like USA Hockey, for a lot of people who don't know, these like every hockey rink in North America is pretty much registered. If you're in the United States, pretty much for the most part they're all registered with USA Hockey. So if they've got hockey, that's probably because they get grants and stuff like that and help. So when you go to these rinks, you might have to pay an annual fee to register with USA Hockey. So like when I started doing learn how to play hockey here in Miami, I had to register with USA Hockey and become a member, and that's how they keep track of how many people are playing hockey on the reg and all that type of stuff. So Hockey Canada has the same thing where everybody from the little kids all the way to the adults, even in like just the rec leagues, and we're not talking about like the guys who are playing on the Olympic team or anything like that, but you have to register. So it's a whole system of things. So it's top to bottom all of this. So they paid $9 million worth of settlements since 1989, and they're using the money, and this also pisses people off. They're using money that parents are using to pay off their kids and their membership dues for the year that you have to register every year. That's also something that didn't sit well with people. It's like, you mean my little boy is paying off this asshole sexually assaulting this person? Like that's also a bad look. So that's one thing that I just wanted to make clear as to how this works in a way.
So it began with that, and it's just as they've dug, the Canadian government started digging. They found the charges or the allegations pretty serious, so they opted to open an investigation. And as they kept digging, they were realizing this went well beyond what the initial allegations were about, to the point that there's been essentially a full overhaul of its leadership.
Yep. And
even some of its overhauled leadership is now gone.
Yeah.
They fired or resigned, I don't know.
Most recently,
was their interim head.
Right. Andrea Skinner stepped down, as well as the CEO of Hockey Canada and the rest of the board of directors. Like, they're all gone. Every single one of them.
But it's bad when the interim has to step down.
Yeah.
You brought someone in to replace the shitty person, and then the replacement is gone.
Well, because maybe it was part of the whole, they probably brought it from within, So like, the whole thing is poisoned in a sense. And it's bad. And a bunch of sponsors removed their sponsorship, especially a big giant Canadian companies, Scotiabank, Canadian Tire, Tim Hortons.
Now Bauer.
When
Bauer.
Bauer. When Tim Hortons is pulling out, it's bad. Yeah. That's like Dunkin' Donuts pulling out of the Boston Celtics. Sheesh.
Yeah, it's Hockey Canada is going to get a huge overhaul. A lot is going to change here, and for good.
Oh yeah,
for the good.
like there was like a thing in this article like oh, how's this gonna affect Hockey Canada? Are the lights gonna stay on in a bunch of ranks? Because like I said, these membership payments and things like that, and of course the Olympic stuff and the sponsorships, like help promote the game and keep certain communities ranks open. Don't worry, these sponsors will be back. They'll be fine. They'll find a way to come back. They just need to. Hockey Canada needs to figure their stuff out, get some new people in there, and help with the promotions and everything like that, to show, hey, we're changing, and this also helped bring to light a lot of other concerns for people with regards to other things in Canadian hockey, such as support for women's hockey, support for First Nations people, support for other minorities in hockey in Canada. So it's brought to my attention some things like Akim Aliu had some issues, and so I think there's a goon. Gosh, man, I told you guys that I wanted to remember this, so let me see if I can find it. I had a Gottlieb's goon that was tying to this. It was, I think, a reporter in Toronto. I forgot who he writes for, but Andrew, you remember Brian Burke, right?
The GM guy?
Yeah, the GM. He was the GM of the Ducks when they won the Stanley Cup, and he went to Toronto to try and see if he could help them. This guy, he famously, when he was, I guess, stepping down or mutually leaving Toronto, this reporter, his name is Steve Simmons. There we go, Steve Simmons. He asked him what do you think is going to be the best thing now that you're leaving? And he's like, the best thing is I'm never going to have to see you or hear you again. Which is great. It's a fantastic. Huh?
What did he say that to?
Oh, Brian Burke said that to the reporter that asked him the question. This guy, Steve Simmons, who is the goon that I'm pointing out here.
But I respect the petting.
So apparently Steve Simmons was trying to make some sort of shitty point about race and all that type of stuff, and how Hockey Canada, Akim Aliu, I guess, was saying some things that Hockey Canada was not helping in promoting people of minority playing hockey to feel safe, to feel welcome, and that type of stuff.
This player Akeem is he's black.
Yes. So Akim Ali, so he made this article, and he's like, I like how he would know. Let's see. No one wants to say this because of the politically correct police and all, but those who coach Akim Aliu must cringe every time they see him in a news report or a commercial talking about what's wrong with hockey. Like he would know. By my count, Aliu played for 23 teams in 9 different leagues in 12 professional seasons and barely finished any season with the same team he started with. If that was color related, how is it that Wayne Simmons spent just about the same 12 seasons playing in the NHL? And he was making all these shitty points. And when Simmons talked back, like he's like keep my fucking name out of your mouth, that type of thing. And so he was pointing out, like, yeah, but
so he will sniff him.
But it doesn't go to your point that we don't feel welcome in this sport, because he remembers he's black in the NHL. Someone threw a banana peel in Toronto when they had like the Kraft Hockeyville game, and someone threw a banana peel onto the ice when he was on the ice. So to raise his chance, like, it's still going on. It's so Steve Simmons, you're just a fucking goon, man. Just fuck off. And I'm gonna say this again because I need to once more. I told you guys about, I don't know, it's probably like going on like 8 years now, 8 years ago, when I wrote an article about probably racism and stuff that goes on in the hockey community, especially in Canada. And I was like, this shit's happening, right? And I talked about First Nations people, and then a bunch of people in Canada were like, yelled at me, yelled at me on Twitter and all that type of stuff. Like, they said a bunch of shit to me, and I keep because every time this thing comes back, I keep coming back like, you motherfuckers, I told you all that this shit was happening, and I keep being right. This is what it feels like to be Charles. Is this how it feels, Charles? Because that
it always comes at a great cost, though.
I know, but still, man, my point keeps being made years later. That, like, yeah, progress is probably being made, yes, but shit's still taking a while, especially in hockey, man. And as a Hispanic hockey lover, like, I love seeing when they're trying to do inclusive stuff. The NHL this season is finally pushing for more Hispanic stuff. They have now an NHL and Espanol Twitter account, which is awesome. The Florida Panthers have 2 hashtags that work this season. Time to Hunt, which was their thing last year. And their second one is Vamos Gatos, which is the only Spanish hashtag in the entire NHL. That includes the other cities like Dallas and Los Angeles. So it's good to see, but we've still got a long way to go. And as a proponent of hockey and someone who I feel should try and steward the sport towards more people liking it, because it only helps the sport if more people like it. All right? Like,
well,
that's...
I will say,
yeah.
If you want to get Hispanic culture into hockey, one of the things to do is do not disrespect people by just only celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month as appreciation for your ethnic cultures. That shit is so funny, and it's complete market play, and if you don't think people realize that, sorry. And it's only a smaller amount of people, but I know it's silly, and I know everybody has an opinion, I get, on this day, but if you're an organization and hockey is not the most inclusive sport out there, and the reason why I say it's not inclusive is because to me, it feels like that it either appeals to the Americans up northeast, or Canadians, or Europeans, right? And how many black players you have? I don't think you have a Latino hockey player, if I'm not mistaken. And if you're going to try to use it, okay, well, if you're trying to use it as a marketing play, as Knights and Goes Vamonos Gatos or anything like that, but it's more or less like, hey, at least the Marlins, who F things up, but when Jeter went year one, he tried to make it more of a Miami vibe or Hispanic vibe for everything, but it wasn't just for one particular culture, it was for everybody coming into it. Even the little things on the foods or not the market, but the foods, the platforms, the billboards. I remember driving down Broward, it's always Vamonos Gatos, Los Gatos.
I feel like,
does it feel authentic or inauthentic?
I
because you can't just do that with region. You have to do that for all the other teams too. And if you make somebody give me like a weird team here. That's the Seattle Krakens. So if you make the Seattle team being like, hey, Hispanic Heritage Month, let's give some love to our Latino fan base. I'm like, that feels inauthentic and offensive.
I don't know. Maybe. I mean, what the Panthers did.
Maybe you guys are more hockey based than I am. I'm just looking. Literally, I'm looking as outside in.
Yeah.
Granted, I like hockey. It's just there's just too much sports for me to always get reinvested. But I say almost 5 years. I'm like, maybe this is a year where I can like fully set my britches in.
I think being inclusive is fine, and like marketing is always going to pander.
Does it feel cheap? I guess is my long thing is. Does it feel cheap to you guys?
I feel like it's that gif where it's like
the Latino aspect, but it's hockey fans.
I feel like it's that gif where it's just like it just feels nice to be included. Sometimes.
Right, sometimes what about you, Andrew?
I mean, I think hockey's done a pretty decent job. They're not trying to like compared to the NFL.
Oh, that was bad. The little tilde NYFL.
Yeah, that's not.
I love how
that's when I say it's stupid and offensive.
I love how Urinating Tree added that to his profile page on his Twitter.
It's like that's trying too hard.
Ooh. Oh, the NBA has a bad one too. The NBA, that's what they have. Yeah.
We're just getting our ABCs, A, B, C, D, E.
Yeah.
It's like, look, we get it. It's admirable that you want to be inclusive, but if you try too hard, it becomes pretty damn obvious that it's got to feel organic.
That's a good word.
for instance, UTSA, University of Texas, San Antonio, wore special helmet decals the other day in their game. It gonna pull it up really quick. It was Hispanic heritage. So they had on the helmet stripe, as they call it. So that's the thing that goes above the top. You had skulls, some different designs.
Oh, like Dia de los Muertos type of thing?
Right. So it's like, that's cool. And I mean, UTSA, that's to the best of my knowledge, it's a very heavy Hispanic population.
Mm-hmm.
But it's got to feel, if you're going to, and I don't want to look down on these leagues for trying to be inclusive. It's admirable. But like I said, it's got to feel organic. Otherwise, it's like, I know this is kind of a little bit off track, but you'll kind of understand what I'm saying. UCF tried to foist this tradition on us back in 2011. It was called Unite and Get the Patch.
What the hell does that mean? What are you, nicotine addicts?
Believe me, that was a very common joke then and now for people that were around at the time. So what you do is you they sell this UCF logo patch. You're supposed to wear it to games. They gave you special shit or whatever. And then they try to do this thing where, like, before the game, everyone would, wrap their arms around each other and say, like, UCF Unite and shit. It's like, that was so...
That's very cringy.
Exactly. That's why everyone hated it. It's then you have some things organic, like a UCF fan, and his name has, I think, been lost to time, unfortunately. He came up with the moniker Charge On. And then people were like, hey, that's kind of cool. So they started...
I don't want to be cheesy, but how do you guys are the Knights, how did you not think charging in any capacity, revelry or anything like that, was a natural first instinct as opposed to, get the patch? I'm just curious. I'm not even trying to shit talk. I'm just like, this is something that seems so simple in marketing and accessibility and imaging is actually, not as in the nose as we think.
For what it's worth, our athletics department, and namely our marketing department, was not that good until about 2012. It was not great. So, organically, the Charge On thing came on. And look, I'm not trying to compare a little moniker that UCF uses to honoring and acknowledging Hispanic heritage, Black heritage, Asian American heritage.
This is the one time where UCF comparisons is relevant.
Thank you.
We will say it for you.
Because it's... there's a shirt that says about a friend of mine has that has rock paper scissors on it and says "throw what you know." That's kind of what it is in this case for me. It's that as much as it helps me to tie into things that I know and experience. But anyway, so it's got to feel organic, like the Charge On thing, where people heard it from this guy, so they started saying it. Eventually, UCF Athletics heard that, thought that was pretty cool, and then kind of we've made it our own. That's how things should be.
Oh man.
So UTSA's thing was awesome. It's NHL teams have started using specialty practice jerseys.
Like I think some of this is like it's like you guys are saying, it has to be organic or authentic, right? So like the Panthers using a Hispanic thing, it's like, okay, they're basically in Miami, right? So that makes sense. Maybe like the Predators with their whole country music thing, like that makes sense, okay? Or another example, the Panthers and Jewish heritage, right? Like in December they do that, celebrate Hanukkah and type of thing. So it's like, okay, that makes sense because of how many Jewish people are from up north come to South Florida. So it's the same thing. But it's weird, like with the NAFL, which makes zero sense. I get that, but I'm just talking about inclusivity as far as the people is concerned. Like not the teams, not the sports. I'm talking about like people, ground level, right? Your kid wants to play hockey. He's the only black kid on the team. Hopefully, everybody treats him right. Okay, that's what I'm talking about. He's in the middle of North Dakota for whatever reason, and then that's where they are, or they're in the middle of Saskatchewan, wherever you want to say, but they feel welcome. Or they're
Andrew, you'll be very proud of me. You not being here the last 2 weeks has taught me, temperament in my statements, because something was about to come out when you made the North Dakota line, and I just want to make you made me proud, bud. You embedded yourself a little bit into me.
It's got a little Andrew inside of him that's like, shh. Oh man. So yeah, that's what I mean. Okay.
I mean, organizations can only do so much.
I know. But
like some of it comes down to the training of the staff and the coaches.
Yeah. And people willing to call things out, right? And that's like the thing with Akim Aliu. He's calling out. He's talking about his experience. Like hockey's a great sport. Everybody loves it, but it doesn't mean that it's perfect. It doesn't mean that everything's wrong. And just because you were, thanks to Hockey Canada, yeah, okay, you were able to go to a rank and learn how to play, and then become good at it, get some coaches, and then move your way up to the NHL, right? Like, but it doesn't mean that the experience was hunky-dory and that you didn't see any bad things, because you did. You experienced it, and it doesn't mean that the bad things didn't still happen in the NHL. So it's like we're, yeah, okay. Anyways,
this is good though.
54 minutes that we're actually talking about sports and serious things.
When the goofs get political, not that kind of political, but sports political, I always think it's a nice little refresher, because it's usually, ruined after the fact by some dumbass statement that I make. So this is perfect.
Huge contrast from the Gisele food thing.
I can actually ruin something. I can actually change the mood really quick. I found something.
I was just about to say, you want to ruin the mood of racism, Andrew? Come on.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Well, I'm just curious to see your guys' take on this.
Okay.
So, someone on R Miami, so that's the Reddit, the subreddit for Miami, not the official town. It's just gathering place. Here. Yeah. So someone asked the question, "What is the real Miami to you?" They followed it up with this.
That's where I live. That's where I live in the real Miami.
They followed it up with this reply. I saw a TikTok montage of Miami Beach, Brickell, nightclubs, outdoor scenery, etc. All the comments were something along the lines of, "This is not the real Miami. I wish this is how Miami really was. Visiting is different than living here." The question is, what is the real Miami to you? What do you see that the media never portrays?
Is this directly to us?
The top-rated reply was by someone named Harold Redtooth, and they wrote, "You live in a West Kendall housing development with your mom, dad, grandma, grandpa, and uncle in a square-shaped single-family home, identical to all the houses around you, or alternatively, with your significant other in a 500-square-foot efficiency in Sweetwater. During the summer, the street outside your home becomes a canal 3 times a week. You are woken up each morning by the chickens, which your Santero neighbors raise for sacrifice in their yard. Your rent is 40% of your income. Mm. You drive your 2008 Honda Civic with a bad transmission everywhere you go, including 1.5 hours each way to your job downtown because you don't live close enough to the metro rail to make use of it. You have resigned yourself to the fact that the rail extension you were promised years ago is never happening. You spill your colada on yourself while frantically swerving to avoid a collision with a leased BMW being driven by a cokehead at least once per week. For breakfast, you eat rice and beans with maduro. For lunch, you eat rice and beans with maduro and a quarter chicken. For dinner, you eat rice and beans with lechon leftover from your tio's Memorial Day barbecue at AD Barnes Park. Sometimes after work, you go to a Pilates class or CrossFit gym in a converted warehouse. On Friday nights, you go to drink craft beer or smoke hookah in a different converted warehouse. If you are feeling really crazy, you will Uber downtown to party in Wynwood or Brickell, losing approximately 10% of your net worth in the process. You are in debt. Sometimes at sunset, you feel a gentle breeze tinged with the smell of the ocean and look towards the sky to see a chittering flock of parrots swirling beneath pink-tinted clouds. For a moment, it's all worth it. Then you are struck and killed by a leased Audi being driven by a cokehead.
You know, a lot of
I would say it's not accurate.
I mean, some of it is. I mean, some of it's not completely pretending to me, because me and Charles didn't grow up here. So that's one thing. Like, and neither did you.
What?
We didn't grow up in Miami.
No. But I have a but on that.
I mean, we lived in Miami, yes, but some of it...
Not a but on living in Miami.
Oh, okay.
I'm just trying to remember my but for Mr. Kendall Sweetwater.
Oh, okay.
Because there's Miami... I'll let you finish and I'll go on my diet.
I'm just saying some of the experiences, like knowing a bunch of my cousins and stuff like that actually are born and raised here. Like, yeah, that's exactly their situation, their living situation. I know a specific family, a part of my family, that has the situation of they live with their parents. All four siblings in the same house in West Kendall. Like, that is completely accurate. Or having the food at the park and the leftovers. Like that, all of those things. I even coming down from West Palm Beach, I have seen and experienced, yes. And then coming down to live here, now living here like 8 years now. Dear God, I've been lived here 8 years now. But 8 years now, like, yes, I've done a little bit of everything that is on that list, whatever it was.
Not being the driver on below, of course. We're putting that on the record, not leaving that for interpretation.
So there you go. What was your butt, Charles?
So that's a tale of two cities right there. Because what you have is Kendall, Doral, Sweetwater, Miami. And I'm going to tell you right now, all those downtown people, a quarter of them might be Miamians. Or South Beach, and then the other portion of it is people from Broward and Palm Beach, straight up. So just saying that. And then the other half of it, which is that because Tale of Two Cities, there's that, and then there's Hialeah, Miami, and we're talking about rails on the doors, rails on the windows, loudest dogs that you can get, abuelas and viejetas just sitting out there smoking their cigars. That you wouldn't mess with, tough as nails. They don't mention the dudes in Domino's. They're missing the aesthetic. They made Miami, in his description, too much of the nighttime vibrant, but that's because of the location. When you think of the wall, Mr.
He said West
Down's
Kendall.
wall, and how life was different, yeah, bro. I have a little insight because I feel like this is always to learn at Charles. So I have family in Miami that lived in Hialeah. This was not my first touch and go in Miami when I came to law school by any way, shape, or form. My uncle and my cousin had lived there, and we would visit when we could visit. And you're talking about cluster roads, and the singular modular stuff does not look the same in Hialeah or a little bit around the other areas where, what would we say, Miami Gardens and stuff like that. You're getting off-color community houses that barely, the only thing that you can tell the distinction line between the properties is the fencing, and it's a steel link fencing that has some NAS stuff coming in there. So, but you have a lot of those hole in the walls. So that's like my exposure because I lived both those lives, and I like a little bit one over the other. What I miss about Miami myself is seeing the Vietos play dominoes outside the liquor store. Loved it, absolutely. But it's kind of like the same equivalent of like New York, and New York's a 3-bit trifecta of the boroughs, Long Island, and then like Staten Island coming in there. And I would even venture saying Manhattan has its own personality between. But I won't say the man can only give you some flavors of the pie. It's a variety. He gave you the Neapolitan ice cream. He gave you the vanilla with a little bit of strawberry. That's my butt to it. If people ask you what to buy, he's not wrong. Not everybody's a cokehead. Yeah. It's just people are just bad drivers down there. That's why they recently just installed the camera like 9 years ago, when everybody was doing it ahead of time.
Yep. All right. Yeah. So we're at an hour and 1 minute, guys. So let's do a word from our non-sponsors, people, places, and things and concepts, what have you, that we've been enjoying. I have Tito Puente's birthday today, apparently.
How relevant.
Is it his birthday, or are they just celebrating? I guess it's probably his birthday, whatever. Tito Puente. Anyways, we've been enjoying it last week, so I started last time. Andrew, do you have one? So you've been on in quite a bit.
Yeah, I do, actually.
Alrighty.
So my non-sponsor is Office Max.
Office Max, which is also part of Office Depot. They're the same company.
Office Depot, Office Max, potato.
Yep.
So last night I had to print out almost 700 pages
Dear Lord.
of documents that I had to bring to court today for my work.
Jesus Christ.
And to put it mildly, if I wasn't able to go to Office Max, Office Depot, whatever, I don't remember which, it wouldn't have been done. My at-home printer
dude, next time just call me. You can use mine, you know.
Well, it was like 7:00 at night on a Monday. So, although I mean,
you know,
I'll take you up on that next time.
Exactly.
Our office doesn't have an industry printer.
And it costs like almost $130.
Yikes. Hey man, you gotta get it done. Get it done.
Well, luckily I'm getting reimbursed, thank God. But the guy who worked there, Chris, I think his name was, I'm pretty sure. Incredibly nice, really helped me out. Oh, this is interesting. Steve Levy is picking the Florida Panthers to win the Stanley Cup.
Great. Now we're losing.
Now you're definitely screwed.
Mark Messier, of course, says the Rangers. And then I forget who the third one was, but he picked the Avalanche. Sorry, I'm watching the Rangers Lightning game.
Yeah.
So yeah, that he helped me out a ton. I try not to use the term literally that often. I try to save it for things where it actually would not have happened, or actually would or would not have happened, or whatever. I literally would not have been able to do that without Office.
Nice.
DPAC, MeePo, whatever, MaxiPo. So thank you to the Office Depot Max on Bird Road for their excellent work, and more importantly, for being open an hour later than any other location.
Nice.
They don't have FedEx Kinko's by you?
No, FedEx.
It was closed.
Yeah.
It was closed by the time.
Yeah.
This was late at night, man. This was 8:45.
Yeah, no, the FedEx that I know,
civilization.
They'll close early, especially like on a holiday. So yeah.
All the locations near me, FedEx, UPS.
Next time, come on over to Francisco's. All right, and you
absolutely.
You guys can reimburse me later for the paper costs, but yeah.
So I will absolutely take you up on that.
Yeah,
Um,
700 pages.
yeah,
God.
Office DPACs, to Chris, the guy working at the Print Center. Um, thank you for your assistance. I would not have been able to do what I need to do today, and it worked out well in the end. In spite of the fact that I had to put all the documents together by candlelight, figuratively, because my power went out overnight.
Dear Lord. You have
by the
key
way,
to my office. The next time you just do that, right? And just be like, "Hey, Francisco, I'll be here." So.
by the way, FTL, go fuck yourself.
That's fair.
There we go.
Admittedly, we did not get hit hard by Ian whatsoever. We got some rain and wind.
Yeah.
Not much. But if the power goes out with some hurricane or stormy type conditions, that's kind of understandable. There was nothing in terms of weather, and the power goes out for 12 hours. And even worse. Wow, this turned from a positive non-sponsor into an anti non-sponsor.
Which we do every now and then.
There were supposedly like 270 people out of power in my building. All but 25 of them got resolved in like an hour or two. Guess who was in one of the 25?
Oof.
So instead of being out of power for like 2 hours, I was out of power for 12 hours. So FPL, get your shit together. Actually fix your infrastructure, for God's sake. We're paying you exorbitant money, and you're leaving us without power for 12 hours. Double middle fingers at you. Go fuck yourself. Get your shit together. Diatribe aside, Office Max, thank you very much for your very kind assistance, and you had power on. So promo code Office DPACs.
All right. Good job. All right. Charles, do you want to go?
Yeah, I can go.
All right.
So it was kind of tough because I was looking through my bank statements. And I was just telling myself, man, what can I sponsor? What have I done? And I realized sometimes I live a very quiet life.
Bank statement.
Well, yeah, because I don't track what it's a long time between Tuesday to Tuesday, and you want to make sure that you give everything love. And I can't endorse any games yet for those who listen on the gaming sphere.
Right.
We're doing Yakuza 0. Francisco and I are going to aim to it, but we can't. I've only popped in like 5 hours, so that is
already.
not enough time.
I got to figure out what I'm going to play.
Yeah,
next.
and I'm probably going to pick that up from his recommendation. Kirby's going to be my trip to New York, and then I'll come back to Yakuza because we all know it's coming November 9th. We already sponsored God of War last week. I'm on Overwatch 2 right now as we play, but I need more time before I give it like a non-sponsor, considering the fact that is it remnants of the first one, that I enjoyed come around as a sponsorship. No, it's got to be its own independent thing. It's kind of like, having a clone, but you put the old soul into the clone, but am I enjoying the new clone body, or is it just like the person's soul coming into it? Archer, I think of that with Katya, and that joke that comes into it. Thankfully, there won't be like a weird, genitalia in the sink. Watch the show. It's still funny. I stopped after watching like 7 seasons, but it still comes into it. So I'm going to go with Old Faithful because sometimes we do non-sponsors, and we don't just leave it behind as a one-time gig.
That's true.
Kind of think how I mentioned with God of War. These things are stuff in our life that we are glad to have, and we can have it again. So I had sent you folks some photos today. It was a Tuesday, and I had the opportunity to actually eat in Fort Pierce. I was supposed to do it tomorrow, but I might have court all day, depending on how the scheduling works out. Francisco already knows. Damn, he's already on the Google. So we were supposed to get Mexican, and then Derek's like, I'm kind of full. I'm not hungry yet. And I was starving because I've been up since 6:06 in the morning, and my breakfast was like a Pop-Tart. And something to know about Charles, I'm hungry like every 3 hours. It is terrible. So I had JoJo's like last week. God of War had broken up that ranking of listening there. So I'm like,
dude, did they improve their website? Because this looks awesome. This is slick.
They improved their website.
This is slick.
They have two off places location, Fort Pierce and Vero Beach. Had I known that it was in Vero, I would have just gone there more often back in the day, a few years back. But anywho, things happen for reasons. So y'all know what I'm about. it was chicken and waffles day. I'm not even gonna try to sell you. I was looking at some new things. I was looking at the greedy burger, which is like 2 patties and onion rings and all this other stuff. I was looking at like these fries that had jalapeno and cheddar and all this stuff. And my doctor's just staring at me. He's like, "You can eat that?" I'm like, "I'm sorry, doc, but reflux and heartburn can wait out." But I went with Old Faithful. So I screwed up because I went with DoorDash. I didn't feel like driving the 12 minutes to go pick it up. I probably should have. But I screwed up a little bit because I still went with my chicken and waffles. I got Oreo. Oreo's been a constant winner. I need to switch. I was going to go to the regular one and save myself $2. I'm like, screw it. I'm going to have to pay delivery fee anyway. Might as well get what I want. Instead of getting the tenders and waffles, I got the chicken wing and waffles, but it wasn't the chicken wings. It was the whole wings. And for anybody who can't see or don't understand what wings are, it's the connection of, the wing and the drum, essentially. The L shape, as I tell people, where you have to rip that sumbitch apart. It's like how, some people down in Miami, when you say they want fish, they give you the fish with the head, and they eat that shit.
Yeah.
It's for the skin.
Of course.
So I ordered it. It was a good price. I paid like $24 because, delivery dudes, they get you on the fees and the services. They all do at the end of the day. But for $16 for the actual thing, it's fine. I didn't get fries this time because remember last time they gave me free fries, I told you guys, and that almost killed. The obituary was being written. So we just went with the chicken and waffles. So we went Oreo waffles. We went mild honey sauce. And it was, I got to tell you this, guys, when you do it as like the whole chicken, it is just sauteed properly. So here I am. I got a gold tie on, champagne tie with a tie bar because I accessorize. And then I have a white shirt. And I'm trying my hardest to be like, I can't get shirt. Because I didn't eat in my office because my paralegal was there. And thankfully, I didn't want him to see me like eating like chicken like that. If I had a knife and fork, it's fine. But we were about to get dirty down. Like I'm Dracula suckling the fresh blood of a transplant. So I'm like venturing taking my shirt off, man. Like I'm like I gotta do this, man. I'm gonna wear the A cut. The New Yorker was coming out. I was gonna be caught
freaking dodgeball with that stuff.
Yes, but yeah, pretty much. So I'm ripping it. I'm eating it. And the funny thing is, I didn't register. It didn't register to me that it was the whole chicken wing and drum until I started cutting it with the fork and knife. I'm like, shit. So I'm eating it. I'm sauteing it. I'm eating stuff, and it was so good. But the problem is, fellas and ladies and everyone out there who loves chicken like I love chicken, if you have the option between chicken wings and chicken tenders, always order the tenders because you get every maximum amount of meat. When you have the whole connected chicken,
you got no.
I got the three wings. You saw it, right? Yeah, the whole thing is the bone interrupts as you're not getting as much meat to it. This is a recession. We're hungry. We can't eat the rich yet, so we got to eat the right kind of chicken. But mild honey's so good, the Oreo's so good, the saute, and the problem is that I like to go chicken waffle, but because I had to use both hands, this was not like a regular like what me, Tomin, and Tom Sai would do at Brews Room. We just get the 3 fingers on our chicken wings, so that's how I eat chicken. I just do it with 3 fingers. I feel weird doing 2. Like the flats they're not that complicated. Why do you need 2 fingers anyway? I don't understand that, but that's a different philosophical debate. But with this one, I had to rip that stuff apart, like slurping on it and shit like that. It was absolutely excellent. Every time I'm in Fort Pierce, man, it's either got to be Phatz or JoJo's or Pueblo Viejo when I get the Mexican. But maybe I'll do it tomorrow and get today. Hopefully in New York, I get my Colombian and I get my Puerto Rican food. Forget the Chinese. I know it's great up there too, but I have needs in my life. But Phatz, you always hit my local needs. It's food for the soul. I don't know how my blood work is perfectly fine. I don't know how it's high cholesterol or no high cholesterol. I don't know how it's no high sugar when I eat that stuff. And you guys know I eat that like every 2 weeks. But you know what? You're my will to live. You're the wind beneath my wings. Did you ever know that you're my hero? Whoever created Phatz, you get a baby vessel. So Phatz, chicken and waffles, I always get there. We love you. It's so good. Hashtag or promo code comfort because I be coming. It's so good.
Yeah, it's good. All right, guys. So I went back home over the past weekend. My dad was celebrating his birthday, right? Went out with the kids to a hotel, just on Singer Island. Spent a couple of nights there. Enjoy ourselves, enjoy the pool, that type of thing. The food was terrible there. Just terrible. I've been having bad luck lately, man, with the food in these outside places. It's not good. I don't know. There's some sort of demon following me. Not sure. Some sort of yokoi or something that I got to get rid of and exercise of some sort. It hasn't been good when I've been going out to these different places. That or it's, or just I've gone to places where people just don't like seasoning their things. I had a hamburger that was awful, man. Just an awful hamburger. Like, that was bad.
Is there nothing worse than a badly seasoned hamburger?
It tasted like literally they just threw it on the grill. They just threw it on the grill. Like,
all the juices leave you.
Like, it was nothing.
It's too much of a geometric shape.
It was just nothing. It was bad. Bad. So, man, it gives me more appreciation for the fact that I do have skills, and that I have skills about cooking. Okay? So, I'm like, you know what? I come back home and I could cook my stuff myself, right? That's what I was gonna do with Gisele and the kids, anyways. So this is my non-sponsor is my little beautiful hot plate right here from Cusimax. Okay, guys.
Can I just appreciate the fact that you sounded like you went to go get it to show us as we're there in person?
I know. I want you guys to hear it. It's beautiful. It's blue. So you can get it in different colors, but let's see. Is that? I'm trying to find the exact one that I have here. I think it's this one. Yes, that's the one that I have. Okay, so yeah, the Cusimax electric hot plate, 1500 watts, cast iron. They got it in different colors. This one's in black. Mine is in blue because all my appliances are basically blue or black for the most part. And I was like, yeah, let's go crazy and have a blue one. So that's what I did. They have the double one, and I was measuring it, and I was just like, if I have the double one, I don't know if I can fit everything. I don't really need two right now, but I feel like I'm going to regret that decision later on when I need two things to cook. But no, it's fine. The single's fine. It does take a bit to boil like a large pot of water. I will say that much. So it does, like a small one, you can get that going, but a big one, I need to kind of start that thing up maybe like 15 minutes before I actually need the boiled water. So it takes a bit for it to get going compared to a regular normal stovetop. But it's worked for everything that I need. I've cooked eggs on it. I've cooked fried rice, and I've made my steamed buns on it. Like that's really all that I need. I got to make some ramen on it at some point whenever I get the kick for it. And yeah, no, I love this little thing, man. I've been using it a lot since I bought it. It's very economical. It's $33 right now if you want to get it on Amazon. But it's Cusimax, man. They make a bunch of good stuff. And it's I read the reviews. It's like, okay, this seems like a good option for me. If you're in a dorm or anything, you can get one of these too. It does heat up, man. It does heat up well. It'll take a while for some, like if you have bigger pots, then it'll take a little bit longer. But aside from that, man, it works for what I need it for, which is to make all my wonderful meals and make you guys a little bit of jelly whenever I show you the pictures. So yeah, that's what I'm doing. Promo code shitty hamburgers, man.
No, you gotta say it like
probably like the
shitty hamburger.
That's yo, my shitty shrimp. no, but like it was like the worst.
You want the shitty fries?
It was like that. That was like probably the worst hamburger I've ever had in my life.
Where did you get it from?
At the Marriott Vacation Club.
It's okay.
At the Marriott Vacation Club in Singer Island. Like we ordered food. You know what? You know how bad this was, guys? Like the hotel was fine. The room was fine. The pool was fine. Like, but whatever's going on in that kitchen ain't fine. We ordered lunch. That's how I had the hamburger. Went up, got it, and I was like, I was just dousing that thing in ketchup, guys. Just dousing it in ketchup. And my sister got pretzels, big giant pretzels with the freaking with the cheese to dip in, right? They messed up the cheese.
What?
The cheese had no flavor. It didn't taste like cheese. it tasted like it was a yellow goop of some sort. I think I was eating paint, to be honest. I took one dip of that and just like, nope, nobody eat this. Nobody eat this. Eat the pretzel, but don't eat this. Like, it was bad. It was not good. Not good. We got to take it over. You know, once the Checkers franchise is going for good for us, well, we'll take it over. All right, guys?
Don't worry.
That's the trajectory for the show, everybody. Is we're eventually gonna take the proceeds from this.
Jack.
Yeah, we're gonna go to Checkers and we're gonna buy a franchise. I don't know where we're gonna set this franchise up, guys. Where do we set up our Checkers franchise?
I mean, if it goes up to 4 a.m. in the morning, it's gotta be like somewhere in South Florida.
Yeah,
we need people who actually can go there, except for the 3 meth heads.
Put it near my house because there are no Checkers anywhere near me.
Oh, that's a pretty central location, actually. That's not a bad location.
Yeah, that's safe.
Yeah,
that feels safe.
You know that strip? We're near the. No, Flanagan's is gonna. Can we compete with the Flanagans, Andrew?
Listen, man, Flanagan's ain't as cheap as it used to be.
We want
it really is.
All right, so we'll set it up on 87th, Andrew. That's where the Flanagan's is. Like, that's where a bunch of those chain restaurants are, anyway. So we can just kind of set up there. So we'll buy up whatever's there, and we'll set up the Checkers there. So there you go. Next to a used car dealership or something.
I ain't scared of Flanagan.
Yeah.
You have last call on your food at like 2 a.m.
That's
what do you
true.
think the people who are doing rails of blow are going to eat?
It's true.
Checkers.
Right? No, they'll come out of Flanagan's all drunk, and they'll come to us. They'll come to us. We'll literally make it walking distance. That's what we'll do.
I'm like, you want Buford? They're like, no, I don't want. I'm like, you want the Buford?
You know, and Charles is literally going to bring up back. What was the thing you wanted back on the menu again?
The Frank's Red Hot.
Yeah, there you go.
America needs it. You know, listen, I'll vote blue in the next election. Forget about waiving the debt. Make Checkers bring it back.
There you go, Andrew. That's how you entice Charles to vote. So get on it. All right, so we're at an hour 23. I guess hockey's happening. So the Lightning and the Rangers are playing. There's only 2 games tonight. It's the Rangers and the Lightning, and then the Golden Knights and frickin' the Kings. There we go. So those are the 2. Of course, they're in New York and LA because ESPN. So there you go. And I think it was 1-1 between the Yankees and the Guardians right now.
You'd be correct, yeah.
And I think someone just hit a home run for the Yankees. Someone hit a home run.
Harrison Bader.
There you go. So there you go with that. And
speaking of baseball, I want to get to the thing that I wanted to talk about.
Division
earlier.
series. So the division series are happening. So the Mets.
Trash.
Wait,
no frauds.
Wait, damn it!
Which one do you want to do?
Well, damn, Andrew, take control. Go.
We don't know what's going on. The floor is yours.
So we had a Jeff Passan, the Passan assassin.
Yes.
Oh, he apologized for that, by the way. He said it was a joke.
I know.
No, I knew.
He retracted.
I've learned your humor. Over enough time, I've learned your humor.
Mm-hmm.
So the Passan assassin is back.
Yeah.
And I think it was Francisco that came up with that one. So props to you, Francisco. That's a really good one. The Passan assassin, Jeff Passan, he was on Twitter today. He tweeted at Ben Verlander, who's the brother of Justin Verlander of the Houston Astros.
Fraud.
And he tweeted, Justin Verlander, just because I'm doing my best Ben Verlander impression, in which case, Shohei Ohtani, 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 Shohei Ohtani. To which Ben Verlander responded, grab a step stool and say it to my face, Jeffy boy.
Yeah, and literally posted like a screenshot of that Jeff Passan was 5'9", which is the height of an average normal human being.
And then, here's where the assassination happens. Jeff Passan
Oh, me and
says,
Jeff Passan share a birthday? That's awesome. There you go.
You're already the coolest one of us.
Wait, no. You know what's weird? Because I share a birthday with Dan Raphael, who did the boxing for ESPN. Now he's done his own thing. You guys should follow him. He's really good for boxing. So I think that's strange that we have 2 sports people, and I'm waiting for Andrew to have one as well to make a third and make it all seem like this is destiny.
What if Andrew's Stephen A. Smith?
Oh God!
Just like the complete opposite of himself.
I need to know, Andrew, what's the date? You don't have to say it on air, but you can just put it to the chat because I'm going to go down the deep dive on this as you guys are talking about, Ben Verlander being a coattail rider.
Oh, we've celebrated Andrew's birthday on the show before.
Well, but let me finish my Passon thing here.
Yeah.
And here's where the assassination happens. Passon replies to the step stool thing and says, "When you're talking about Shohei, you're usually on your knees, though, right?"
Game. That's what it is. Woo!
Dirty.
Awesome. Absolutely awesome.
So I'm looking up. Well, who cares if people know what my birthday is? It's February 9th.
Yeah, we've celebrated.
I'm looking up some.
Yeah.
I'm looking up some famous people that were born on February 9th.
But ESPN personalities, because Charles is the boxer guy.
Or any kind of sports.
Oh, okay, any sports
commentary.
Okay, yeah.
Andrew's got
non-athlete, non-athlete.
He has Charlie Day.
Oh, he got Luigi. So all right, so he's got Charlie Day. That's fine. That's cool.
Let's see.
Pesci. Okay, cool.
So Tom Hiddleston.
Okay.
Michael B. Jordan.
All right.
Joe Pesci.
Share with William Henry Harrison, which explains your love for America.
Carole King, which is awesome. William Henry Harrison, the shortest presidential tenure.
Yep.
Vince Papale. Of Invincible, Matt. What the hell is his name? Mark Wahlberg. Mark Wahlberg. Remember that movie?
Okay.
Saquon Barkley.
All right.
Vlad Guerrero.
Senior. Not the fraud that's in Toronto.
Bummer. The Rev. He's the drummer for Avenged Sevenfold. Miss you, bud. Jalen Green, the basketball player.
Okay.
The Houston Rockets.
I'm not really seeing any sort of sports personality.
I didn't see anybody. So that
Michael B. Jordan, close enough, right?
Mookie Wilson.
You are the one who will get there. You are destined to be that person.
Oh, this is cool. I share a birthday with King Kamehameha IV.
All right.
Logan Ryan, who apparently used to play for the Titans.
Yeah, he's on the Giants now, I believe. No, or is he on the Bucks?
Ooh, Bill Veeck.
All right, that's a sports guy. That's a good one. I
share a birthday. Oh, you'll like this, guys. I have the same birthday of the guy who does the voice of Agent 47.
Oh, in video games?
From Hitman.
There you go.
KJ McDaniels.
All right. There's just how many video game
Jameer
voice actors
Dalton,
I can just like, oh, I know that guy.
Jair Alexander.
Packers player. So also trash.
All right.
Co-owner of the New York Islanders.
Okay. Alrighty.
The rabbit hole was strong.
Okay. All right. Can we talk about baseball?
Yeah, sure.
It's not February 9th.
Jeff Passan.
All right, Jeff Passan. There you go.
But we had to see.
It's a real MVP, actually. Even though he retracted his statements, but still a real MVP. Okay, so Wild Card Series. So Tampa lost to Cleveland. So Andrew, how do you feel?
Well, we talked about it briefly in the chat, but I know we lost in 2 games, but it was a lot closer.
Yeah, that's
than
probably the
people make it out to be.
Series, yeah.
There were a grand total of 4 runs scored in that series between 24 innings.
Yeah, you guys
so
basically
both
played
teams'
like 3
offenses
games almost.
So both teams' offenses were pitiful, to say the least. It was really just kind of, I don't want to say it was a fluke, but like basically all the runs that Cleveland scored were off of a home run by Jose Ramirez.
Yeah.
It was not the blowout that a 2-0 series win would make it seem to be.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, I know I was a little bit miffed and was kind of really
You're actually calm.
pissed when we were talking in the chat when it happened.
Yeah,
but
you're calmer this year than you were last year.
Because he didn't.
I was more pissed about last year because of that fluke play that led to us getting knocked out, where it bounced off the Red Sox player and it went over the fence, so it was a ground rule double instead of a hit that would have scored runs. But I still think, even with time to reflect on it, I still feel like this team is not going to be able to. 2020 was kind of almost like an aberration, I think, because our ownership keeps moving players, and we don't have that time to create a cohesive unit that can work together.
You guys had a ton of injuries this year, though.
And we had a ton of injuries, too, yes. But still, we had a lot of our guys back for the playoffs. We had Glasnow back. We had Franco back. We had Rosarena back. Really, the only 2 major people that were still out were Zunino and Kiermaier, which, yeah, that hurts, but I don't think it's enough to derail a whole playoff. It's not like with Tampa where we lost Braden Point in the NHL Stanley Cup last season, where losing Braden Point was a huge loss. With no offense to Kiermaier or Zunino, but it until Sternberg either decides that he wants to invest in the team, and I say Sternberg, I really mean the whole ownership crew, but he's kind of the figurehead, kind of like Derek Jeter. He was the figurehead of that ownership group, even though he wasn't really the
except Sternberg actually has
money. Right. Until Sternberg decides he wants to invest in the team, or we get a new owner, yeah, right. Both of those, yeah, right. I don't know if we'll be able to win a World Series. I mean, I would love if we did. I think it's possible. It's just we keep getting rid of guys, and now it looks like Kiermaier is either going to be out, or he's going to be traded, or he's going to retire.
I feel like the Tampa situation is worse than like the Seattle situation, where that 95 team had to make the playoffs in order to save that franchise. Whereas the Rays have shown, like, yeah, we can win. We can win under these, like, horrible conditions in this horrible ballpark. And, like maybe Sternberg and the owners are like, well, we don't really need to show the people that we can win and we can do this and make them show up and get the support. Now it's just like, can we get them to give us the money? And if not, then just like, oh, well, we'll just keep the status quo for now until until, well, they might do the ultimate plan, which is just to up and move someplace else, which is, like I said, worse than the Seattle situation, where Seattle basically made everyone just fall in love with the team so much that they couldn't get rid of them, you know?
Yeah, and unfortunately, I see ourselves eventually going down the route of Oakland.
So the apathy is so terrible that it's like you want to forget it.
But the problem is, Oakland sucks. We actually have good teams.
I mean, technically, Oakland
you know what?
in the last 2 years.
No, I have a better analogy here. Major League One. Major League One. Sternberg and ownership are the, whatever the name is, the antagonist owner who tried to move the team coincidentally to Miami. Bear in mind that was like 1986, so the Marlins didn't exist. But I feel like Sternberg is trying to suck the life out of the fans, which will eventually impact the team, which will eventually cause the team to move. And they'll try and justify saying, well, we don't have fan support. But the problem is, you're not giving us anything to... The team is succeeding in spite of Sternberg. And there could be some arguments that maybe Kevin Cash can't get us to the next level. Who knows? But then again, a lot of people were saying that John Cooper couldn't get the Lightning to the next level, and here he is winning 2 straight Stanley Cups.
Thought the Avs won last year. I'm just putting. It's hockey season, man. We're going.
I know.
I know. I'm not gonna say anything. I had a joke in there, but life has taught me this.
Damn it, the little Andrew with him is talking. He's gone native. All right. Well, we got to move on to the next series, guys. So it's an hour 38 we're at right now. So, the Phillies and the Cardinals. I watched that series for the most part because my brother-in-law is a Cardinals fan, and man, what a terrible way to go out for Pujols and Molina and Wainwright. They blow the game in the 9th inning, giving up 6 runs in the first game, and then that was it. Like that was it. Whatever magic, BS magic that the Cardinals always seem to get around this time, it seemed like they were destined to get Pujols and those guys one more ring. It was gone after that. That was
pure definition of a regular season team, it felt like.
Oof. Well, Central Division. So, but yeah, there go the Cardinals. And Paul Goldschmidt, I know it's regular season, the MVP vote, but man, he did not show up at all in those 2 games. Poole showed up. Actually got his last ever at bat, along with Molina. They both got singles. So, something at least for those 2 guys.
Is Wainwright retiring too?
He hasn't really officially said. He hasn't officially said, but from all accounts, it seems like that's probably where he's going to lean to. Or the Cardinals are going to basically not re-sign him or something. So there you go. That was the Cardinals series. The Mariners beat the Blue Jays. And the Blue Jays with their own epic choke, which was, Charles feeling happy being an AL East team there.
Everybody said it was going to be the Blue Jays who won that division.
Oh, and
2
Vlad
guys
Jr.
here are part of the AL East. Oof. And everybody, Andrew can attest to it. Oh, it's the Blue Jays. They're really scary. They got Bo Bichette. They have, Biggio. They have Vladdy Jr. They have all these things. They fired their coach or manager midway through the season. Poor Charlie Montoyo got, crucified for no reason. They couldn't stomach it out. Everybody blew down. Of course they were going to get in. The AL East it's classy, baby. It's classy. It's the billionaires club, except for the Red Sox. And they blew it, and I was happy.
Yeah, so I'm happy for Seattle. If I think Andrew, you're on the Mariners bandwagon now, right?
Well, I have been for
but like officially
actually,
now that the Rays are out, you are like full on.
They're the team that you're rooting for.
Yeah, full on CS Rays.
Well, I mean, yes. I mean, I can dive into further detail that I sent a letter to Ken Griffey Jr. and Randy Johnson when they played. That my uncle lives in Seattle.
Oh, that's awesome.
That I've been to Seattle.
I played Ken Griffey on the SNES, but that doesn't mean I'm rooting for them. It's okay. You can just say that you're supporting the Mariners because they give you hope in your spirit.
All right.
But yes, I am officially on the Mariners bandwagon.
Nice. So there you go. And then the funniest one, the Mets. The Mets winning 100 games.
Trash.
Leading the NL East by like I think it was like at one point over the Braves like 13.5 games or something like that. It was, and one of their like studio analysts was like the NL East is over back like in like June or something like that. And the Braves catch up to them, which both of those teams I don't know which is the worst evil between those two, but when the Mets lose, it's just funny. It doesn't matter to whom. It's just funny. It's just
always
really,
the same way.
Yeah, it's always because Mets fans have this inflated ego about themselves and a victim complex at the same time, which is always fantastic when it comes to this. So yeah, losing to the Padres, the first game was a blowout. Then they do their own version of a blowout, and then getting completely shut out in the final game to the point where Buck Showalter had to come out and complain about Joe Musgrove, thinking that he was doctoring the ball with some sort of substance on his ear or something like that. So that was just hilarious, and it only made him angrier. By the way, it just made things worse. And the Padres have moved on, and they're going to face the Dodgers, which is going to be really, really awesome to see. That's going to be a fun series. If the Padres stop being the Padres and actually push the Dodgers, who knows? So that'll be fun to see. Unfortunately, the Mariners lost today to the Astros in a close game. But that at least it bodes well that maybe they can make this an actual series and be a competitive. They're division rivals, so they've seen each other a lot. So that'll be cool to see. And the battle for the West out there. Then you got the Phillies beating the Braves today. And I mean, if I had to choose the lesser of two evils again, I'd choose the Phillies this time. I'd love to see the Phillies.
What you consider a rivalry with the Phillies?
What happened?
Do you even have what is considered to be a rivalry with the Phillies?
The Marlins don't really have a rivalry with anyone. They've never been good enough to that point. Really, the only 97 with the Braves because they actually faced off in the series, and then 2020. But the Phillies probably that 2003 season because they literally had to take them down in order to win that wild card because that's who the two teams that were vying for it. And really, that's it. The Marlins haven't been good enough ever to really compete with any of the other teams. So yeah. But if I had to choose, the Phillies over the Braves. That's all. All right, we're at hour 44, guys. And I kind of want to chew this stuff in. I don't want to go too much over the 2-hour mark. It's a college football, Andrew. Any happenings from the past week that interest you? Don't talk about that Florida State game. Do not talk to me about that.
I'll try to get through it quick since I know Charles probably has a lot to say on the cage today.
Patrick,
well, first off, UCF unveiled its space game uniforms for this season. For those who don't know, UCF has started using quote unquote space game. Has started doing a space game once a season to kind of show how the school ties into NASA, space, all of that. Started in 2017. Unveiled the new ones this year, and they are beautiful. They are spectacular. I want to buy one so bad, or some kind of merch, because they are just absolutely fantastic. Let me move on to the rest of the college football world. Oklahoma. Charles, I would like you to use your catchphrase here.
Efforty.
Oh, yes. Nice.
Both.
Trash and frauds.
Yes.
They are what we call thrash or throds or throds,
Just-
because you can be both of this.
They're both. They're
the state of New
people
Jersey.
were saying, they're gonna be college football playoff contenders.
You've seen where they rotate the OU logo, so it just says no.
So that no, yeah,
They're that. That's what they are.
yeah. Oklahoma they are playing like trash, and they are frauds.
Here we are. I think he's going to be a good hire.
They lost.
Trash.
They lost 49-0 to Texas.
You talk about a college program that didn't need that kind of ego boost.
Let's see what else. And by the way, that is the largest shutout loss in OU history. 49-0. And that's to their arch rival Texas at the Cotton Bowl. The Red River Shootout, Red River rivalry,
Did
Red
they still play
River
at the Cotton Bowl
Showdown.
or at the Cowboy Stadium?
No, the actual Cotton Bowl.
Oh, okay.
In Dallas. It's tradition every year. They have like the state fair or whatever.
Yeah.
And the OU Texas game is played there. So yeah, OU sucks. Let's
Kansas
see what
lost.
else. Kansas lost, but damn, what a run they've been on. 5-1. First time they've been ranked since 2009. Could they be back? We don't know. It would be cool if they were.
Tennessee's back.
Tennessee is back. Tennessee fans really do not know what to do with themselves.
Next week.
Tennessee, you're welcome. Josh Heupel is their coach. He was our coach for a couple of years. We like Gus Malzahn, so all's well that ends well. Let's see what else. James Madison University. What a story. So James Madison, which is based out of
Virginia, right?
Looking it up.
Gotta be in Virginia, right?
I'm surprised he doesn't know.
They are based out of Harrisonburg, Virginia.
Yeah,
Founded in
all those
1908.
All those guys, James Madison, all those guys.
They moved up this year in light of all of the conference realignment stuff. They moved up to FBS. They were a stalwart in FCS for many, 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 many years. Won at least one national championship recently. The Sun Belt Conference opted to bring them up, and they were able to do so immediately. JMU is undefeated on the year and is ranked in the AP and coaches poll, which is incredible. Absolutely incredible. They're showing out. They're showing that they belong. It's fantastic. The problem, though, is due to NCAA bylaws or whatever, they're not allowed to compete in a bowl game or a conference championship for 2 seasons.
Rigged.
Which is such total BS,
Yeah,
because
exactly.
there's a possible situation where JMU is the best team in their conference and they're shut out of
You mean some
Like,
shitty
what
7
would be
and
the
16
craziest
is gonna
thing
play
is,
in the
what
Big
if they
Brains
are the
Bowl and they
top
can't?
ranked conference champion in the group of 5? Normally, they'd be going to the college football playoff. It's possible now. It's, who knows, and they would be shut out due to some bylaws. Which, I mean, the bylaws have been there for dozens of years, and everyone knows about it. So it's not like it's unfair. Well, it is unfair. It's just everyone knows about it, and we wish that bylaw wasn't there. It's kind of putting damper on an incredible season. Let's see. Alabama almost lost to Texas A&M on Saturday. FIU did lose to UConn on Saturday. So it was kind of a battle of who's worse. Because UConn sucks, FIU sucks. So it seems like we have a bit of a pecking order here, because FIU beat New Mexico State, and New Mexico State really sucks. So it almost seems like New Mexico State is kind of solidly at the bottom right now in terms of who's the worst team. But FIU sucks. They're playing on Friday. They're playing UTSA, so they're probably going to lose. Francisco, you might be interested in going to that one because, oh, wait, no, it's students only. Never mind. They're giving out Vice T-shirts to students at the game.
That's fine.
So it's going to be like, fluoro, whatever. I may be covering that game. We'll see. Oh, yeah, FSU lost terribly.
Oh.
Well, no. The score was close.
Yeah.
But they lost in a horrible fashion.
Oof.
Yeah, I mean, I've taken too long. We want to get to the cage, but really, kind of all the chaos has kind of died down a bit
for now
from the first few weeks. So who knows? There might be some craziness happening this week because Alabama plays Tennessee.
Yeah,
that's a great annual rivalry.
That's finally
could Tennessee actually pull the upset? We don't know. So we'll find out. Yeah, that's really all I've got for college football.
All right, so me and Charles are gonna go down we're gonna ride the petty train again. And that's basically the theme of this NFL season for us. It's the petty train. So we're gonna get on it, do the NFL scores, and we'll go from there. All right, Charles.
Okay.
All right, and
we'll do the greatest hits.
Yeah. All right. We'll just run down this list and see. All right. The worst game, the Colts and the Broncos. What an awful game.
I watched She-Hulk, caught up with it. That was worth my time instead of watching that game.
Andrew, During Dating Tree put out the greatest game for that one. So you know it's bad. The Giants beat the Packers.
KJ Hamler hates Russell Wilson.
Here's a stop on the petty train, Charles. Oh yeah, and Russ was not cooking that day.
We're gonna take the trolley to the petty train.
The trolley.
Yeah,
we're gonna
Daniel
go down to the underground and eat some crumpets off of and dip them in Aaron Rodgers' tears.
Gonna have to have some opium tea in order to deal with the pain that he has.
Her British. Andrew, do a British accent. Oh man. Ooh.
Let's just raise our monocle and just say that Aaron Rodgers can only run out of time to blame people.
Oh man. His ayahuasca, whatever the hell he's on, he couldn't get it through customs, so there you go.
At least I was about to say I was gonna make a Queen statement. Damn it, Andrew. I'm gonna say it anyway. At least the Queen passed before she had to see Aaron Rodgers play in the great country of England. There, I said it. I don't care.
That's not bad.
This is the petty train, after all.
Yeah.
Charlie, go choo-choo up in here.
All right, so there you go. The Detroit Lions are bad. They lost 29-0 to the Patriots. As much as everybody loves Dan Campbell, don't think he's a good coach.
Right?
I feel like there's some wasted potential with that Lions team. All right. The Los Angeles Chargers beat the Browns in a game that was, totally winnable for the Browns, and which is great. They that was fun. That was fun to see. The Texans beat the Jaguars, so the Jaguars ain't it. Texans ruining their tank, by the way. Not good. Tom Brady doing exactly what he left Gisele for, beating the Atlanta Falcons. 21-15, so there you go.
Do you think he had the BG staying alive stuck in his head as he was coming out the entrance the first time since his divorce was announced? Just telling all them people out there, ha, 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 stay alive.
The Bills destroyed the Steelers. So that was the game.
Let's not overhype a team that is, going against a guy that has a rookie QB. Matt Canada is a terrible offensive coordinator, and then no defense.
Yep. The Jets beat the Dolphins, and
let us not overhype a New York team that beat a third-string quarterback and an offensive line that was decimated.
Yeah. The one thing, the Jets, their victories. It's one thing, the Jets are better than other bad teams, so they've got that at least. That's basically it. And a decimated Dolphins team. So that was that. I did do my Rita Repulsa thing, not as terribly as I normally do, but once more, I feel like this Dolphins team, they were asking for it. Something was going to happen, and it did. And I feel like all my feelings were right about this. The Vikings beat the Bears. There you go. 29-22. The Titans. The Titans win against Washington.
Fire Mike Rabel. Fire Mike Rabel. We almost lost it.
Yes,
I was like shopping at Walmart, and I text you guys the little ellipses, and that's always big stuff. I'm like, we won because it was coming down. We can't stop anything. Derrick Henry ran the ball 30 plus times.
Yep.
What is the point of drafting Hassan Haskins in the 4th round of all things if you're not even helping share the load to be a change of pace? How many times are you going to do of the middle? Traylon Burks is injured. He is on IR. The next guy up after Robert Woods is Akeem Westbrook, and then Kyle Phillips out of UCLA. You promoted Des Fitzpatrick from the practice squad. Last year was on the roster for a bit. Back to practice squad. He was a 4th round pick. You have Chris Okonaro from Tennessee, and it's just like daddy's favorite football. I'm going to say it every week. Until he is not my coach. Looks ain't everything. We need to modernize. It's all protein shakes and free weights. Not an antioxidant in his body. That's why Tom Brady's still playing 20 years, and then Mike Vrabel's hopefully out of coaching in 3.
Oof.
He's going to beat the shit out of me.
The Saints beat the Seahawks, but apparently Geno Smith is good now. So that's a thing.
Yeah,
that's funny for the Seahawks, given that. All right, the Jimmy Garoppolo, Jimmy G, and his handsomeness beat the Panthers, 37-15, and the Panthers fired their coach promptly, so he's gonna get paid to stay home.
And Baker's gone.
Yep.
Baker's gone 2 to 6 weeks with a leg injury. Yep. So literally, when it rains, it pours.
Yeah, man, that poor man. Back. All right. So next stop in the Petty Tour, Charles. The Eagles beat the Cardinals, 2017.
It feels so good at this point because you look at Kyler's stats at the end of the game without looking at the stats in duration of the game, and it looks fine. 1 touchdown, 1 pick, rushing touchdown, almost gets it back to win. But what did he do? He slid on first down, or going on second down, he slid, not even crossing the barrier, didn't do clock management, spiked the ball, and had to make him go for a field goal afterwards. And it's too much of that Sandlot baseball effect. It's too much of that I got to do everything guy. And what I will tell you is this. When I look at the elite guys and quarterbacks, the Brady's, because he's still playing, the Mahomes, the Lamars, because y'all need to put some respect on that man's name. I hate analysts who just hate guys who could run and pass at the same time because they couldn't do it back in their day. Looking at you. Mike Vrabel, put in Malik Willis. You want a guy who has the game slow down after some years' experience, but knows when to make the smart decision. Tyler wants to be Brett Favre 2.0 by all means.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Stat pad.
Just don't defraud anybody.
Stat pad. All right, and apparently, somebody did the math that since his college years, he's 3-43 when Call of Duty has a double XP weekend. So there you go. Including his time at Oklahoma. That's his record. The Cow. Yeah.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead. What would you want to interject?
It's unrelated to football, so I'll interject later.
Okay, so we're almost done. Cowboys beat the Rams 20-10. Cowboys might have a new quarterback.
Nah.
Is this, you think it's just the Nick Foles situation? He's just
nah.
Good
what I will say is people need to eat. People, including Jerry Jones, if he's listening, follow us on Twitter, Jerry, Charles the True, Danfrey Hole, SFJOJR, Sports Goofs, need to get off of Mike McCarthy's nuts just a little bit, because if you're able to win 4 games with Cooper Rush and be in high contention at the NFC East and kind of be consistent, you get a little bit of my respect in coaching.
Ooh. So you're saying this guy might actually be a good coach. Interesting. All right.
For this, I mean, listen, how many teams this week are putting in like quarterbacks and don't know what to do?
Yeah.
One coach just got fired because he didn't know what to do with all these quarterbacks he brought in.
That's true.
And, it could have been all downhill, but y'all looking at the 5-0 Eagles, forgetting that the Cowboys are also 4-1. And also some respect to Brian Daboll's, sure, over the Giants, but still saying.
The Ravens beat the Bengals 19-17. And then the Chiefs beat the Raiders by 1 point yesterday. There you go. Devontae Adams got angry and pushed the photographer who was about to get paid, baby.
Welcome to a Josh McDaniels coach team.
Ooh.
Spurts of greatness, lulls of mediocrity.
Yep. So there you go. So that's it. That's the NFL. That's what went down. So, all right. So we're at 2 hours and 3 minutes. Are we ready?
I know Andrew wanted to interject.
Oh, that's
real quickly
right.
on
Andrew,
something.
what was your thing?
I'll pass. It's something we can just discuss ourselves. Although, if I can just take a minute, there is something I just thought of in the sports world. The FPL sucks, but who really sucks is the FIA, which is the governing body of Formula One.
What they
do? This past week was the Japanese Grand Prix in Suzuka. It was not ideal racing conditions. It was pretty heavy rain. So on the first lap, there were a number of accidents, people spinning out, crashing into boards, things, yada, yada, yada. So they red flagged the race, which is everyone goes back to the pits. They wait for the conditions to improve, things like that. So what happened was, and this is what was terrible. One of the players, one of the drivers, Pierre Gasly, was trying to catch up to the safety car train because they put out a safety car and then they turned it into a red flag. He was trying to catch up, and bear in mind, very low visibility. It was very cloudy. It was raining. And for whatever godforsaken reason, they have a recovery tractor out on the track. Now, these recovery tractors, as the name would suggest, it's one of those big, kind of like cat. It's used to lift up a just damaged or destroyed car and move it off the off the course. They put that thing out in the middle of the road as this guy is driving by at 200 kilometers an hour, which is however fast. It's very fast. It's over 100 miles per hour. Which would seem quite dangerous, right?
Yeah.
You would think the FIA would have some thought that, yes, there's a guy on the racing track that is going very, very fast in very bad conditions. Maybe don't put something that could decapitate him on the course until he's off, which would seem like common sense. But apparently it was not common sense back in 2014 because in a eerily similar situation, there's a driver named Jules Bianchi who there was a recovery tractor out on the course. He ran into it because he didn't know it was there. He went into like a coma for almost a year and then he died. So you'd think, and it was at the same track too. It was also at the Suzuka track in Japan.
Are you kidding me?
So you'd think, I'm not kidding. So you'd think, okay, it's been 7 years since this incident where one of your drivers is killed at the same track. You would think you would learn something by then. And by the way, Jules Bianchi...
I'm going to kiss him on the mouth. I'm sorry. I'm watching the game. He just hit a 2-run homer. Sorry. There's actual stuff. I don't care about cars. Vroom, vroom. I'm a driver, too.
Aaron Judge stole a base, right? Oh, I see the home run. I see it now. All right, go ahead, Andrew. So
Rizzo gets a playoff.
I'm enthralled. Okay, so what happened next?
So... Anyway, luckily, Gasly, although he estimated that he missed it by about, he said 6 meters, which is about 18 feet. He said that he missed the tractor by about 18, 20 feet-ish, driving at, let me see, 200 kph to mph. So he was driving about 125, 130 miles per hour and missed this big old tractor by less than 20 feet. So he was royally pissed. All of the drivers are royally pissed. But the FIA is saying, oh, we're going to investigate and things like that. No one really believes them.
Where's
because
the FIA? They're in Europe, right? They're based in Europe, I'm assuming.
Yeah, but it's a global organization.
I know, but like they're based in, like,
right?
Like IOC's in like Switzerland or whatever, and all
that. FIA is based in Paris.
Oh, okay, all right, that makes sense.
Which makes sense because it's called the Fédération Internationale de l'Automobile.
Okay.
Very French. But it's like, that is such a no-brainer. Don't put a death trap out on the middle of on the track.
It was just they were in Japan. It was an experiment. They're trying to make Mario Kart happen. That's what it is.
So, FIA is definitely a goon. They obviously did not learn anything from an incident at the same track where another driver was killed. It's like,
yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, that's my I guess Formula One
rant
update. Although in other news, Max Verstappen won the World Drivers' Championship, so congratulations to him. That's winning 2 in a row. Who knows? Maybe we'll see. Maybe this will be the next Lewis Hamilton.
He was like the next big thing, right? So yeah,
he's a different country, but Wunderkind. He's Dutch. That's German. Ha ha ha! Very funny linguistics joke.
Okay. All right, Charles, are you ready? You got all the Rizzo Jizzle off of you?
I had to get some Kleenex here. That should have been my non-sponsor. Welcome, everybody. Your weekly Truplex the Cage with Charles. Full disclaimer, full disclosure. Wrestling is not fake. It is scripted. It's a stage fight. It's a song and dance about people, men and women, being the holy hell of each other, trying to establish their legacies, chase championships, and every day is a beautiful day because what do we not have to deal with? Vincent Kennedy McMahon getting his stank up on my wrestling. It's a new, beautiful day for WWE. We have some enjoyable stuff with AEW now that they're kind of right in the passage. And what is wrestling most of all? A soap opera. But there is also sometimes an ugly side to wrestling. No. I'm not talking about all the blow that was happening in the territories back in the 80s and all the war stories, or even CM Punk somehow leading to, getting suspended and ACL vitamin. No, we're going to talk about New Japan very briefly. There's some stuff I can comment on, but it's all leading us to Wrestle Kingdom. But New Japan, the thing that brought in a lot of territory people to AEW and then also to WWE, guys that produces like Shinsuke Nakamura, and then over in AEW, they got basically Young Bucks and Kenny Omega and Hangman Page along with Ring of Honor. That one, that New Japan. Was it they do now, Charles? Was it the great match that happened between Tama Tonga and Jay White the other day, to which Kazuchika Okada also defeated Jonas? So now we're gonna get Wrestle Kingdom 17. It's gonna have Okada and Jay White again for the title. No, it's not that. It's the fact that they were paying tribute to Antonio Inoki, and they're going to dedicate that in January Wrestle Kingdom 17. Antonio Inoki being the guy who helped found and create New Japan. No, not that. Then what is it, Charles? Like the same problem, boys, that AEW has? Too many titles. And they just introduced a new title. They have now announced the New Japan Television Championship, television title.
What does that even
mean? The rules to it, it's going to be young. Well, there used to be a TV title. NWA TV title. WCW had a TV title. The new NWA has a TV title. So basically it's just defended on television, which makes sense when you have television rights. To me, I don't know what New Japan has the rights on overseas. Over in the US, they have Access, I believe. But basically it's a title that's going to be defended. There's some great TV champions. Arn Anderson. We love Arn Anderson. He was WCW TV champion. Rick Martel, I believe, was TV champion. Booker T. Chris Benoit, Fit Finley, they were TV champions, just to name a few. I don't know per se how that applies to why they need it, but the stipulations of it at the moment is they're going to get a tournament started, crown the new television champion in January, 15-minute time limit for title defenses. It can be young person focused. Have you seen the belt, boys? Did you happen to look at it?
I have it on the screen. They have this little bracket with the image of the belt on the screen.
And maybe just like it literally looks like the 1970 belt that is set up in the home, like basically my grandparents' house before we modernized them. Pure analog tube TV. It is maybe the ugliest fucking belt I've seen in pro wrestling on the major promotions. We're not going to attack any of the indie based stuff, even though some of the indie titles are pretty nice looking. It looks like, man, it looks like a 1970s TV dinner tray. I don't know, man. Like, I don't like the brown to it.
Let me see. I'm trying to find the belt.
There's nothing that. Yeah, that image right there, that's how they unveiled it. So I think you were accurate with the first one that showed the two colors of it.
Yeah.
This is new. And New Japan has some clean fits when it comes to their belts, and then they had the Transformers Decepticon belt, which has grown on me a little bit. It depends who has it. Like I can't say his name. Shingo Taki. I can't speak today. Damn it, because we haven't talked about New Japan so long, the linguistics are not there. Shingo Takagi. Listen, I go from speaking English, partially Spanish, but now you gotta get me saying Japanese names. The tongue needs its reflexes. Going from there, Shingo Takagi made the Transformers belt look good because he's a big buff boy, power. Look into it. This one, I don't know. Someone made a joke says it looks like someone's dad's belt buckle, and now I can't get that image out of my mind. It doesn't even say TV on there or television on there. NewJapanWorld.com. You're gonna have.
It has the website on it, which really feels really tacky.
It is super tacky. It's unnecessary. These are the titles they already have. They have the World Heavyweight Championship. They have the Open Neverweight Championship. More on that in a second. They have the tag titles. Then they have the Junior Heavyweight Championship. Obviously, it's a weight class thing. Then they have New Japan Strong, which is their American-based form of it, to which they have the Strong Openweight Championship, and then the Tag Team Championship, and there are 6-man championships on both brands. Really unnecessary, really not needed, really ugly. However, this is my best Brian Windhorse kind of thing. If you could see me now doing that, they introduced this new championship where WWE just re-signed Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows, guys I'm not really too crazy about, who are part of the Elite originally. They've done a step up in WWE before, were fired, went to Impact, and went back to New Japan. The reason why I mention this, Carl Anderson is the current never open heavyweight champion for New Japan. And he has a scheduled match to happen on November 5th against Hikuleo to lose that title. But I think it's a double eye on the prize. I think it's a little, wax on, wax off, scratch my back, I scratch yours. Of course, this is nothing to say that New Japan, WWE are going to have any cross-branding whatsoever, but it's more like real recognizes real. So they're probably going to have Anderson, oblige to his contractual obligations, lose the title in New Japan, put some spotlight in there, and then, hey, also, we just also announced this other title if you guys want to go see something that's fugly. I don't know how I feel about Anderson and Gallows here. Going to be brought back into this storyline with AJ Styles versus Judgment Day with Finn Balor leading that way against them. But I just think it's interesting because it's like a signed person. And remember, in wrestling, when we talk about the indies, it's just you are contract workers. So some guys who go to several different promotions that work into it. WWE is very hands off on that. It's not big on that. Why? Because it's about product, it's about image, it's about protecting your wrestlers. It's the reason why you couldn't have Roman Reigns defend the title, against someone else and lose, and that goes to a no-name because now you've tarnished the title of what he is in that corporation, that company, WWE versus everything else. So this is just interesting. And I sent you guys a little tweet from Tony Khan from his All Out thing, which says, I'm not going to go fucking deal with this shit anymore. And I was cackling because what was the whole thing about Tony Khan saying, oh, hey, we're going to do a joint thing with New Japan and have the Forbidden Door, and that's going to be something that's really, really meld us together. But the logic doesn't make sense when you're bringing in independent contractors who have flexibility in their scheduling to go to other promotions. It's the same thing of being a lawyer. I can work for the firm, but I can also do some side work for other people. If it's within my contract, I'm allowed to, right? Second sharing, doing what have you. Whereas WWE, it's really more real, recognizes real. I think it's actually more Forbidden Door than you think. And the best part about it was New Japan was like retweeting and liking WWE status of Carl Anderson coming back to WWE. That to me actually, it kind of speaks more than the force feeding of this joint promotion pay-per-view that Tony Khan and New Japan had tried to do, because there was other people who were independent contractors.
Kind of goes to that whole like organic feeling over forced feeling that we talked about earlier in a sort of weird way.
Well, how do I want to say this without getting weird, but this is how I'm going to explain it to you. Tony Khan in wrestling has a daddy kink. And every fan base, he wants them to have the acknowledgement of call me, yes, daddy, that kind of thing. I'm not saying that because his dad's Shad Khan. Actually, Tony Khan's birthday was yesterday, so this is like, Tony, it's not a personal type, but it's just a realization. So it's trying to appease so many people. And what happens is WWE is actually getting the real, like, daddy approval coming from there, because they don't have to put up anybody to do matches. They don't have to set up a big joint promotion in Chicago. They don't have to sign every single person, go from there. All I got to do is say, hey, this person's the current never open weight championship, make an acknowledgement of it, and then we just signed him. I'm like, oof, buddy, because it's not common. So interesting, to say the least. But we're going to keep it short because we're short on time. Charles is hungry. He's got laundry going on because he's flying in a couple of days. So pay-per-view, Extreme Rules this weekend, the second full-fledged pay-per-view under the Triple H umbrella and administration. We're not counting SummerSlam, guys, because that had some Vince McMahon fingerprints before he got retired. Going from there. So we were excited for the build-up. We knew some matches were not going to be of the level of Clash at the Castle, which was the pay-per-view, probably the best pay-per-view I've seen in a very long time. My thoughts, I really liked it. There are some head scratchers in there, and I have a general rule of thumb when it comes to wrestling, because we usually join up in parties and we just watch it together, Tony, myself, and his wife. But this is generally the thing. Am I looking at my phone during the matches, and am I talking throughout the match? Because you can have a result and you can absolutely despise it, but it makes you feel something, even though it's kind of stupid. That's an error. Get the hell out of here. I'm watching the game as we're playing. But we'll go down the match listing and likes, and I'll just give you match of the night. So we started with the good old-fashioned Donnybrook, because it was Extreme Rules, Andrew. So for the first time in years, every match had a stipulation. And it was so rare because the last couple of years that you guys have dealt with me dealing with Extreme Rules and all that other fun jazz, there had not been real stipulations. There was one Extreme Rules match last year in comparison to all 6 matches where Extreme Rules, we're going to talk about something even better than wrestling or wrestling matches. So Donnybrook match, Brawling Brutes versus Imperium, Gunther, Sheamus. They had a match on SmackDown. Gunther may have tapped, may have not tapped. There was controversy. They brought in that heat. They beat the hell out of each other. I loved it. It gave me the juices were aroused and titillated. It was a fantastic match. Following match that came after that, you had to get the cooler down. So Liv Morgan versus Ronda Rousey, Extreme Rules match, beat the hell out of each other. Ronda Rousey wins. Morgan looks strong. It was a fine match. I didn't really look through my phone. I appreciate it for what it was, because sometimes if you just go straight up, beat the hell out of each other thing, you could accommodate for the botches. The thing I disagree with was Ronda going through a table, but then immediately was able to put on one of the arm bars to Liv. When you go through a table, that's like the death sentence. It's the headshot, for lack of a better term. So you can't take out the relevant realism. Karrion Kross, Drew McIntyre strap match. It was okay. I was hyping up a little bit. I envisioned it would have been done better. I think it went on 10 minutes too long. Strap matches don't need to be 30 minutes. It was like 20, 25. And then Scarlett interfered and sprayed Drew with mace to lead to it. And I think you made Kross look weak. And if you look at Karrion Kross, the man doesn't look weak. Granted, Drew McIntyre is a buff man, despite all the crap talk I talk about him. I want to fight that guy. Overall, we'll see if there's a part 2. I feel like there will be a part 2 come up. Raw Women's Championship, Bianca Belair versus Bayley. Bayley's been a mess for Damage Control, terrorizing everybody. Io Sky and Dakota Kai won the women's tag titles. Bayley was looking to make it into the trifecta and really be dominant. And it was a ladder match, and I could have been less invested in the damn match. And I think I told you last week on the show, and I told my buddy, I had concerns about this because there's War Games that's going to happen at Survivor Series this November. I felt like H was going to do a way to throw that down my throat in not a good way that I like it. It wasn't good. I talked to our match about it, and here's my biggest problem with the finish. Bianca Belair won. All of Damage Control came out of Kai, Sky, and I'm not being cute with the rhyme. That's actually how their last names are and the whole scheme of things. And then Bayley, none of the people who were supporting Bianca Belair came out because I guess they were faux pas injured. So Belair is able to KOD both Dakota and Io, and then why is there a drag on this TV? And then be able to beat Bayley. And basically, she John Cena'd it. And anybody who knows wrestling, watches wrestling, will get what I'm talking about when it's talking about Cena's just impervious, becomes Superman, and she became Superman in this and was able to beat Bayley clean and took out her two stooges. Why are we continuing this feud? The logic makes no sense. You could have it if someone interfered and cost Bayley to help Bianca and vice versa. Or there was an equalizer. You have a way, but you can't force feed continuing feuds when someone has lost. And this is the 3rd time Bayley has lost clean to Bianca in the last couple of years. Bianca's first run, Bianca pinned her. Bianca pinned her at Hell in a Cell. Then Bayley got hurt, and now she beat her clean in a ladder match. It's done, boo-boo. There is no comeback. It is not a grudge match, and they're still continuing on Raw. Very out of it. I talked about the whole match. There was some cool stuff like the KOD, and I think I sent you guys that, where she down ladder or whatever. Edge and Finn Balor, best match of the night. Best match of the night. Terms of the I Quit match, you got to get your opponent to say I quit. Maybe a little bit long in length, but the storytelling is fantastic. How it ended was Edge wasn't going to say he was going to quit, Andrew. You know this. Guy came back from 3 broken vertebrae in his neck after 9 years not being wrestling. He don't quit for nada. He won't even quit on the hardest level, hardest difficulty of Elden Ring. That's how focused that man is. Or Returnal. He's a Charles Trujillo on that one. Focused. Well, how's it ends? Judgment Day. It was Finn Balor who's the leader of Judgment Day, came out. So it was Damian Priest and Dominic Mysterio. That Dominic Mysterio lame. And then Rhea Ripley came out to try to interfere, but Beth Phoenix came out. Edge's wife came out, tried to stop him from hurting him. She interfered, and then what happened was, because there's an I Quit, there's no rules, anything like that. So we're saying I quit, anything goes. All 3 of the men are holding down Finn Balor. Rhea Ripley knocks the hell out of Beth Phoenix with brass knucks, and they're going to do a concerto on Beth, and Edge is realizing what's happening, and then he says, I quit to save her. And then, so there's your soap opera storyline. Man saves the woman he loves. But then Rhea, getting the purest heel heat, still slams her head with the chair anyway. I loved it. it was what I needed. It's how you really kind of make people hate people. Because when you're a heel, sometimes we're not supposed to like you, right? That's the problem with modern day wrestling. You forget the fundamentals sometimes. Loved it. Loved the investment of it. Such a good match. Going into that, how do you follow that? Well, you follow it with Matt Riddle versus Seth in the Fight Pit. That was a fine cooler. You know, they had some beef. So the Fight Pit's like a hybrid MMA wrestling thing. Daniel Cormier was there, the referee. He didn't get as involved as I thought he was going to be. The stipulations, how you end it essentially is just that you either get knocked out or submit. Long story short, Rollins submits. That's what happened. Big shit that happened yesterday, though. Oh my God, there's not enough time, but I got to condense this. It's almost 10. I'm hungry. I got to do my laundry. Then the White Rabbit finally came out, and we all knew it was going to be Bray Wyatt. I told you guys I was going to cancel Peacock, but I was down that rabbit hole with him, and then the lights went out, and then Bray did. And I apologize to the both of you personally for how I have spammed you with Bray Wyatt content, but I'm excited because I think Hunter's going to do it right and not put anything that's Bray, who is a phenomenological kind of concept, spooky stuff, for, you know, the lower tier of the group here, myself, not put him anywhere near any championships. Just give me story and character, make him seem like the boogeyman. And Vince is not going to ruin it. You know how Vince ruined The Fiend? Goldberg. You know how Vince ruined Bray Wyatt's first run as WWE champion? Less than a 30-day title defense that he lost at Randy Orton at WrestleMania. What is Hunter going to do? The new costume is interesting. The music's interesting. Did he merge the concept of The Fiend with the cult leader Wyatt? I don't know. And what I'm loving what Hunter's doing right now is he's not going to – there was no Wyatt shows up on Raw. He just had like a 20-second clip that said, revel in what you are. And that's that little thing that we had on Twitch that we started. So that's why I was super excited. I was like, oh, boy, is he following me? Because I love Bray Wyatt. He might be on SmackDown. There's some rumors he's going to be the blue brand. I'm not big on it. I think he should be better off on Raw, but what do I know? So Extreme Rules, overall, I give it a B. I liked it. You know, some matches skip a take, but it wasn't bad. I didn't hate everything except for like one part of the finish. Little side note, going to Raw, but let's go. Hunter gets me. He knows what I want. He says, hey, Charles, are you like Tom Brady? I'm like, no. When am I like I got good hair like Tom Brady. That's fine. I'll give that. He's like, well, do you like beef? I'm like, I love beef. He's like, you like all beef? I like every kind of beef. Kobe beef, you know, Wagyu beef, regular beef, the beef from the – I'll eat the beef that Francisco I think. He's like, well, what if I gave you two colossal men slapping meat kind of beef? I'm like, oh, Hunter, what are you doing here? He's like, what if I gave you Bobby Lashley and Brock Lesnar part 2? Hunter, how are you going to do that? There's a United States Championship on Bobby. You're not going to have Brock, of all people, go for a U.S. Championship. He's like, what if I have Brock just interfere, cost Bobby, you know, injure him real badly, and then Seth wins the U.S. title on Raw on October 10th, and then you're going to get Bobby and freaking Brock Lesnar part 2 under my eye and not Vince McMahon's eye at Saudi Arabia. I'm like, Hunter, are you going to make me watch the Blood Money pay-per-view? He's like, I'm going to get you to watch the Blood Money pay-per-view. Boys, we're getting meat. Meat's back on the menu. I'm so excited for it. I love the Royal Rumble match. I am excited for this. My mouth is watery, and it's not because I'm hungry, boys. I'm hungry for that meat slapping. That's all I got for you this week on the cage.
Okay. All right. Well,
I got a whole month to build up that.
Yeah. All right, guys. So that's it for us. It's we're done. It's up. Bye-bye.